This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where each week this brother-sister duo gets together to discuss the box office, our latest film and TV scoops, our latest movie or show review, and what we're getting into next. We are your hosts,
Cheryl
and Jay.
All right, so this week we watched the last movie of the Sony Spider-Man associated with Marvel Universe movies. Well, that is a celebration to be had after the fact. But this week we watched Kraven the Hunter, and I am on deck for trivia. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, and you probably already know the answer to this, but maybe you don't. So this character, Kraven, was going to be used by a different Marvel director, but it didn't work out. Probably because Sony said, you can't have it because we ain't got much to work with. What director, Marvel director, MCU director, wanted to use Kraven? But they couldn't. I don't know if they couldn't or if Sony was just like, no.
Black Panther? Ryan Coogler?
Dang. Yes.
Oh, I was thinking of Animal, because Kraven hunts animal heroes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dang, that was too easy.
That makes sense.
Yes, but so before learning that Sony had the film rights for Kraven, Ryan Coogler hoped to include the character in his MCU film Black Panther.
Interesting.
Because of the fight between Black Panther and Kraven and Christopher Priest's Black Panther comic book run.
Interesting.
Yeah. So now I'm trying to figure out how he would have fit with Killmonger, though.
He wouldn't have, because there are three people with the same exact powers.
Okay.
Because after seeing Kraven, I'm like, he's White Panther.
So maybe, I wonder if Killmonger wasn't even like his first initial villain. It was going to be Kraven.
That makes sense, because Killmonger in the comic space is like bottom tier villainy. And Kraven is
Spider-Man,
is a top tier, a higher tier villain, because he's like a top tier Spider-Man villain.
So I wonder if he was just gonna go a totally different direction, and then he found out Sony had it. He was like, I ain't about to fight that battle.
That makes sense, because Killmonger is technically a deep cut. So,
we would have had a totally different Discord.
Yeah. Black Panther's bigger adversary is typically M'Baku. Yes.
Oh, okay.
His usual adversary in the comics is M'Baku, but they made them friends. So.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, didn't we almost have it all?
That's fun, though.
So that is it for our trivia this week. Now let's get into our movie news.
Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so for this week, we have several new movie announcements and some news about a movie that kind of didn't happen, but that person's coming back to the franchise. So, anywho, we have one trailer, a very exciting trailer, and then we got a lot of casting news in our BUNCHA-CRUNCH segment. So, Let's start off at the top here. Another sequel, y'all. We getting more sequels, this time for Meet the Parents 4. Now, let me first start off in saying I must have missed 3. Because what happened in the third one?
Yeah, I missed 3.
Now, I also didn't see Meet the Fockers either.
That was the second one. It was Meet the Parents, and then it was Meet the Fockers. So you saw the first 2.
Okay.
Because that was Ben Stiller's Weird Parents.
Okay, so yes,
Happy
you're
Parents.
right. They changed the name. So I don't know what happened in the third one then.
I don't either. I didn't see the third one. No,
okay, so a fourth one is underway. All the original cast are scheduled to come back, or in talks to come back. So Robert De Niro, Ben Stiller, Terry Polo, and Blythe Danner are all in talks to return. We don't know anything about the plot yet. I can't even think. Grandparents, kids of kids, grandkids. I don't even.
Probably somebody's dead and they're coming together
for like a funeral.
Because they always do that when it's like a revival of a super old franchise,
somebody has
family
to die.
Franchise. They did it with Beetlejuice.
They sure did.
They do that with any franchise where they're bringing back older cast.
Right, because you have to have a thing of like, why are we back in this space?
Then they do that with like The Best Man, or Why Did I Get Married?
Best Man Holiday.
Yeah, they brought them back together, and then one of them died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. 'Tis the season. We also don't have a director attached to this project yet, but the co-writer of the previous 3 films, who is John Hamburg, will write this 4th film. So it'll probably have the same feel. It makes sense. Like, don't get a new person for this at this point. The idea, the idea is a horror film. note in the wrong section. This is not a horror film. We don't know anything about the plot. I'm not too confident about this one. I feel like the first two are classics, especially the first one. But
so it was Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers, and then Little Fockers. About 10 years after the marriage and 2 children, we pick up with the family after Ben Stiller and Terry Pullo had kids. And it's been 10 years. So this is longer because this came out in 2010.
So it's going to be the kids' significant others.
15 more years.
It's going to be the kids' significant others.
Well, 10 years ago... After 2 kids how old were the kids?
Well, it's movie aging. So they could they could be like, we're in 2050
so,
or whatever.
You know what it's probably?
Yeah.
It's probably they're the parents. Ben Stiller and Terry Pullo are the parents.
Oh, and okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we're meeting parents of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Yeah.
We called it.
That'd be fun.
Okay.
It depends on who they cast as the parents. As parents of whoever the kids are marrying, and I nominate Katherine Hahn as the mom of whoever the other parent is.
Yeah. Okay, I could see this.
Yeah.
I'm getting on board now.
Yeah.
I'm getting on board. I'm coming around because I was kind of like, what are we doing? What are we exhausting at this point? But you're right.
That would be a good plot if it's like the kids.
Yeah, we get some good kids. We get some good acting kids.
Yeah, some good like comedic acting kids who are like younger. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm on board.
Yeah.
I'm back.
And maybe younger parents.
Jay got me back in. I'm back in the saddle. This could be pretty good. But as we learn more about this, of course, we'll let you guys know. They haven't started development, production, or anything like that. So we probably quite a ways off.
Yeah. All right. Next piece of news we have is an announcement of another entry into the DC space, which is a CLAYFACE movie that is been greenlit, and it's going into the works at DCU under James Gunn.
I like how we have to use the word greenlit now.
Yeah, because you don't know if it's actually going to be made. So
who cares?
It has been greenlit. And interesting tidbits about this. So it's going to be written by Mike Flanagan, but not directed by Mike Flanagan.
I wonder why, though.
Maybe he will direct it.
Oh, he's thinking about it. He's still thinking about it.
Yeah, because James Gunn first said he was going to direct Superman, and then he later on... Well, no, he first said he was going to write it, and then changed to directing. So maybe Mike will direct it.
Okay, maybe they I need to... What's the check? How much?
Right.
You need to add a little more.
Maybe they're trying to see if they'll find another director.
If you already have a director...
He's the perfect choice for this.
I was going to say. If you already got somebody who's good at it, why would you let him write and not direct it?
Horror director Mike Flanagan. Mm-hmm. He did Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. He also did Dr. Sleep.
Okay. Oh, he did. Oh, okay.
Which he will also be doing the next entry in the Exorcist movie, which he says he plans to make
Carrie too, right?
And Carrie.
Yep.
Yes. And he plans to make Exorcist the scariest iteration so far.
OG Exorcist
taking
is not
it back to the original. No, it's not. Right. But he is going to be writing this. That's kind of exciting because they're going in a horror direction for this. So if you want it to be written correctly, Mike Flanagan is the perfect person to do that.
Well, and CLAYFACE look horror-esque.
He does look like he's the monstrous version of like a Batman villain. He's he's like the monstery one.
Even in animation, you like, God, this looks scary.
So the idea is to make a horror movie in the $40 million range. That's easy. Basically, some background on CLAYFACE is original CLAYFACE is a stage actor,
right?
But that's because Batman's like from the 1950s. So original CLAYFACE was a stage actor who was failing due to aging.
Yes.
So he goes under like a medical experiment in New York with the doctor. Well, it's in Gotham, but that'll come back up in our Kraven review.
So
he goes to see a doctor, gets some type of medical treatment that allows him to change his appearance. And
it's supposed to just make him look youthful, though, right?
It is supposed to de-age him, but it messes up his skin, and he discovers that it allows him to morph himself into whoever he wants to be. So instead of using that power to become the greatest actor in the world, he starts to murder people.
Because that makes sense.
A great... A really great episode of Cape Crusader is on Amazon.
Yep.
And they have one episode. I think it's like the first or second episode.
It's early in the season. Yep.
And it's basically about him and Barbara Gordon's investigation into him and Batman Assist. It's a really, really good episode.
It was one of the best episodes of that. And according to reports, Mike Flanagan's really loved the CLAYFACE episodes of the original Batman animated series.
Yeah. So if you get like 28 minutes, and that gives a really good background and a quick story on who CLAYFACE is.
Yes. Yes.
I think that this could be good if they're going in like an Invisible Man route, where it's like a thriller.
We were trying to figure out how do you center, where once again we have a movie centered on a villain. And it's kind of like, well, where Batman at?
And
Batman's probably not going to... I'm assuming Batman's not going to be in this because we don't have this universe's Batman established.
Right, but this isn't Elseworlds. So he is going to be in the universe before Batman. So this is going to... This is canon, I guess.
Right, and I was... Yeah. So how do you angle this movie with no Batman? I mean... We tried this before with Joker.
Yeah, I guess
it didn't work.
So you said that there's going to be a villain in this?
CLAYFACE is one of the antagonists. It actually doesn't. It's not given what is the purpose. Like, is this just a backstory on how CLAYFACE becomes CLAYFACE and we're supposed to be like, on his side? Or is this kind of like, I don't know, because there's no Batman. What do you talk about?
So typically, CLAYFACE murders other actors or people who are in the way of his career. So maybe it's going to be a movie about him being a serial killer. Maybe we're going to follow him. Like, so maybe
there's no villain.
He'll be killing worse people. He'll be killing people who are even less likable than he is, so we won't feel as bad.
So do you keep him alive and keep him as a villain when Batman does get introduced?
You can't kill CLAYFACE.
Okay.
Because he basically just
kind of like you couldn't kill Penguin.
He's like fluid. He can turn his body into fluid. So,
okay.
And if you blow him apart or freeze him, you can't kill him. You can freeze him. What Batman did is a lot of time he developed technology that froze him in place because you can't blow him apart because he'll just break down and restructure himself. Kind of like in Terminator 2.
Okay.
The metal,
he's
the
like,
liquid guy. Yeah.
This will be interesting.
He's exactly like Terminator 2 because he could change his appearance too.
Oh,
yeah,
just a different color.
Yeah,
different substance.
So interested to see who they cast for this. It has to be a good actor because you have to cast an actor to play an actor. So they have to do 2 layers of that. So,
right.
Yeah.
And a murderer.
And I'm interested to see who would join this because it's horror and it's DC. So what kind of actor do you get for this?
Yeah, everybody's turning a new leaf on DC, so they'll probably be able to snag somebody pretty good. At this point. Oh, and one thing we didn't mention is that this actually has a release date of September 11th, 2026. So no time soon.
Yeah, which also, sidebar, the Dynamic Duo's release date of 2028 is ridiculous. Don't tell us about that.
It's so funny to me. Slight 30-second tangent. It's so funny to me how everybody rags on Marvel about y'all release stuff too far out and give dates for things too far out. And DC's gonna trump all y'all because they doing things totally different. And here we have a release date for 4 years from now.
And I'm sure his contract's gonna get renewed, but all of this stuff is like planned outside of his contract.
Also,
he was only contracted for like a handful of years. So, but I'm sure it's going to get renewed, but I thought that's funny.
People are just so picky about what they decide they want to rag on about each studio. And it's like, y'all, they're doing similar things. Yeah. Like, come on, relax.
Yeah, making a universe requires planning things far in advance.
Right. And you, no matter how many times you tell me this junk ain't connected, I ain't stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not stupid. Anywho, that was my tangent.
On the list of revivals, we have Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which is a remake of the movie.
It has to be at this point. Can't be no sequel.
So it's a remake of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It's coming to Amazon Studios. Is this going to be it's movie?
It's a movie.
It's a movie. Okay. So the original Chitty Chitty Bang Bang came out in
1968.
Yes. But it takes place in 1910.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I will
1910's England.
Not seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It is a musical.
Yes, that's part of the reason why I've only seen it once, and we had to watch it in school, grade school. So I've only seen it once.
Yeah, I don't know why.
So Chitty Chitty Bang Bang stars Dick Van Dyke and Sally Ann Howes, and it's about Dick Van Dyke, who is an inventor, meets this woman, and him and his 2 kids and her go off on an adventure, but they're being chased by like some evil king who also wants to steal Dick Van Dyke's car.
Oh.
Because the car is like, not magical, but it's like the most advanced piece of machinery in 1910s England.
Okay.
So, because it flies.
They got to be going for, this going to sound mean, they got to be going for nostalgia bait.
They
but
have
I'm
to.
going to assume a lot of people who love this movie. Don't go to the movies like that.
I don't know. So,
like, who is the target audience for this Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
I don't know if flying cars are fantastical enough anymore.
Or they're going to make the cast young.
Because a flying car was the Tesseract of this film.
Yeah.
And that's not special anymore. Neither is a Tesseract.
I wonder if it's not going to be it's going to be like a spaceship. I don't know.
Because we've got the Batmobile. We've had so many bat planes.
Maybe it's space travel. I think
maybe it goes to space.
They're gonna try to modernize it for sure. But don't Chitty Chitty Bang Bang sounds old. So call it something else.
they did the same thing with Mary Poppins, and they didn't realize that we've reached an era where Mary Poppins is no longer like all inspiring and fantastic.
Right. We're way too we've done other magical things at this point. This little magical thing's not as who and I
think going to Amazon Prime directly is a smart choice if they're going to do this.
I think there's talks of it being in theaters. They probably should not.
They should end those talks.
They should not.
No.
Have y'all seen how Red One been doing? Not so good.
No.
So Amazon's movie choices are very interesting.
You know what? Amazon got it, and Bezos clearly has money to throw around. So throw it wherever you want.
All right. So as we learn more about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, we will let you know.
In more news about things coming back that maybe they should or maybe they shouldn't. Chris Evans and Hayley Atwell are coming back to the MCU. So when
you just jumped right into it. Go ahead.
So when I first saw this, at first I was sad. I was like, oh, because I liked their ending in Endgame.
Fair.
But
fair.
I realized that nothing in comics stays dead or ends. So
that is
them
the
coming
nature
back
of comics.
Makes sense.
Well, and there was also a report right after this, right after this, where they said that there was originally a talk to have Chris Evans, Steve Rogers come back and do another standalone movie with Hayley Atwell in it. And my first thought was they were going to do a movie about him returning the freaking Infinity Stones. Because what else? Why else would the two of them even need to be in another movie by themselves?
Unless we got another Captain America adventure where he does something in the past.
Okay, it would have been like a prequel movie.
I can't think of but that would have ruined plans. They would have had to make everything going forward wrapped around what happened.
I was going to say, they would have had to, some would have got retconned that would have broke the internet.
After they hammered home the whole, you can't change the past thing. So,
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And they probably couldn't figure out how to cleanly write that, him without returning the stones.
Destroying everything.
so I think that's because it says the story didn't work out. And that's why they didn't go forward. I think that, it said that Atwell's coming back as Peggy Carter because I guess she could also be.
She could have been Captain Carter.
She could have been Captain Carter. So she could be Peggy Carter, Agent Peggy Carter, or she can be Captain Carter. Who knows?
Right.
We have no idea who Chris Evans is going to be.
Different universe because she died.
Right.
Different Agent Carter.
Wanda shot that head off. Chris Evans' role is currently unknown. Everybody is assuming it's going to be Hydra Cat.
I don't think he's going to do that only because they ruined the joke.
In the elevator scene. They ruined the
line at the elevator scene in Endgame.
You don't think they would just... But it's the Russo brothers. You don't think they're going to use their own material? Be like, they're going to take that one line and make it a whole character in another movie.
I don't know if this is the climate for that.
Also did.
If you would have turned Captain America
But
into
people
Captain
are thinking he's going to be an evil version of Cap versus being like a whole new character like Robert Downey Jr.
I think he should be a whole new character. I think he should be a whole new character.
Just a different variant of somebody who looks
he should be a different superhero.
I wouldn't be mad at that. Kind of like how Robert Downey Jr. is doing.
He could be... Okay, so here's the thing with Secret Wars. Yes. So the world is reshaped by Dr. Doom.
Okay.
He has erased everybody's memories.
Okay.
So that this is one iteration of Secret Wars.
Because there's two, right?
This is the second one.
Okay.
The second iteration of Secret Wars is that he has changed the world. It's under his rule. His rule. He's erased everybody's memories so that they do not remember what the world was like prior to his change.
Fancy.
Except for there's like a handful of superheroes who were like hidden inside a spaceship who didn't get affected by the memories. So they are the only ones who are like
Fantastic Four.
The Fantastic Four were.
You just said spaceship. I'm like.
The Fantastic Four were all affected except for Reed. So he ended up erasing Sue Storm's memories and convincing her that he was his wife. It was a little weird and creepy, but part of it is he erased Doctor Strange's memories and convinced Doctor Strange that Doctor Doom is the king. Doctor Strange is his right hand.
Okay.
So Doctor Strange was like his henchman who carried out his orders, and that's why I found it interesting that Doctor Strange was like one of the first people they listed to be in this.
Back.
I think it'd be interesting if instead of making Benedict Cumberbatch evil Doctor Strange,
make Chris
Evans an evil Doctor Strange. So you have Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, and then you have Chris Evans as evil Doctor Strange.
I like the two of them playing two evil guys, and not just themselves.
I think that would be cool.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
I like that idea. Benedict Cumberbatch has basically confirmed that he is coming back as Doctor Strange and Doom. So we got that. It has been rumored that Spider-Man is going to be in this. It was confirmed. Well, when I say confirmed, I mean confirmed by like Hollywood Reporter, not Kevin Feige himself, that Captain America, Sam is going to be in this. And then it's also said that the Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four.
The Thunderbolts is interesting.
Are going,
because how do they get wrapped into this?
There are 80 people in this movie, and I'm sure they're like Captain Marvel's got to be in this, obviously.
It's an Avengers movie, so
what
all the
else
Avengers
would she be doing?
They have to establish by the end of this, because it's an Avengers movie. They have to establish who the lineup is,
who our core Avengers are.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know how the Thunderbolts get wrapped in this. Fantastic Four makes sense because it's called Doomsday.
People keep saying Moon Knight is supposed to be an Avenger in the MCU.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at that either. But I'm just going to be interested in what the power lineup is.
I'm interested in the general plot at this point. Like, what is the plot?
Yeah.
And we already know the Secret War is going to be the second half of it.
So it's going to be one of two plots. It's going to be either everybody is transported to Battle World, and it's evil versus good, and there's a guy who makes them all fight each other. Okay. And it's just going to be like a movie full of just random brawls, which is fun. Okay. Or it's going to be the Doctor Doom has taken over the world plot.
I like that one.
It's got more story.
And also I don't know if somebody made this plot up. Is there also a comic plot line where Wanda's chilling with Doom?
That's not part of Secret Wars, but that is a different story plot line. That's a Children's Crusade.
Bring it back.
Which I think they are doing anyway. So they might just do it all together. Because that's kind of what they did with the rest of them.
Yeah. And of course, because they always take bits and pieces and make their own version of a movie.
Captain Hydra was a completely different comic storyline.
Okay.
That they threw in Endgame. So, yeah.
I trust the Russos with Avengers stuff. So, we're going to see what this shakes out. Hopefully, I want another event type Marvel movie. Any movie, period. I want an event type, and I think this is going to be it.
I wonder what Hayley Atwell is going to play.
You mean
so she will just be Peggy Carter.
Well, that's not been confirmed. They are assuming that she is coming back as Peggy Carter.
I want her to be an evil variant of somebody else too. I don't want them to be the same because we've seen them be the same already. It
is assumed. Kevin ain't said jack, so all of this is hopes and dreams at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll see at Comic-Con what Kevin actually says.
Yeah. Okay, that is the end of our movie news. Let's roll into the trailer park.
Toot toot.
Okay, so the only trailer we have this week is for 28 Years Later, and this is going to be a return to the world of 28. There was first days, then weeks. Now we are in years. Now this is the first of the years movies.
Right, because it's assumed to be a two-parter because Nia DaCosta is directing the second part of this.
It's called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I have not seen either one of these previous movies because I am a chicken. Ain't my type of fanfare. It looked creepy though. It looked good and creepy.
So 28 Years Later made Cillian Murphy and Naomi Harris, I believe.
Oh, and Naomi Harris is nowhere to be found in this, so people are asking where she at.
Well, neither is Cillian in this trailer either. So,
but we know he's in this movie.
We know
we don't know what capacity
in this movie, but we don't know what capacity. So basically what it looks like is there has been 28 years since the last movie. The rage virus that infects people that turns them into just angry killing machines. They're not zombies. They don't eat people, but they do rip you to shreds with their limbs.
But zombies are not a monolith.
You have to be dead.
Okay.
I don't know if they're technically dead. No, they're
dying?
Not dead. No, because you're infected alive. And there's no death process. You kind of just get infected and you immediately start getting angry.
Tweaking.
And needing to be killed. Oh. So the rage virus has evolved and it looks like it's going in a zombie direction though. For some scenes, some of the scenes look like just naked crazy people running in the wild. And that's a little scarier than zombies.
They do. Everybody looks unhinged in this for sure. It looks like it's going to be gory. Lots of blood and guts and chopping of things.
Yeah. It kind of looks like the infected have banded together and maybe formed like a society of crazies.
It's also giving, the way the trailer is cut and the music that they use for it is it's giving like sinister.
Yeah.
Like, I am uncomfortable. And I ain't even seen this movie yet.
So in the trailer, we get Aaron Taylor Johnson, who plays Jamie, who's the main character.
Okay.
And there's another character called another actor, Edvin Riding, who's playing Sundquist, who's the boy who's with him.
Gotcha.
So it seems like Aaron Taylor Johnson and the boy live in a colony
of some sort.
That is separated from the rest of the infected. They are hunters. Yes. It looks like this colony has set up jobs for everybody. You make clothes, you're a hunter, or you build. They went back to the basics, into the world.
Because ain't nothing left.
Right. Pre-industrial.
Right.
So it looks like they are venturing out hunting, and then they stumble into a colony of crazies. And that's where hijinks ensue.
A lot of blood hijinks.
We only get a glimpse of Jodie Comer, and it looks like she's with child.
Oh, I barely saw. I don't even remember. I've seen this trailer twice, and I didn't even catch her in
She's at the end, and it looks like she's holding a baby. So at some point, they're going to stumble across her.
Ben Kingsley is in this, too.
Ben Kingsley is in this as
well. He's in the trailer. Yeah.
And Ralph Fiennes. Or I think you're thinking of Ralph Fiennes.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
So that's Ralph Fiennes.
Wrong bald white guy.
Ralph Fiennes is in this as well. He looks a little rough.
He does.
We don't know where he is in this. Right. It looks kind of like he's in the same area where there's the Bone Temple, because we get a shot of what looks like statues, white statues surrounding a huge stack of skulls.
If you watch the trailer,
they look like a giant Christmas tree.
Yeah, Jay's doing a very excellent description, but you need the music in the trailer to go along with the images.
And the voiceover of some woman.
Right amount of creepy.
Saying nonsense. Is very unsettling.
It probably makes sense to the people in the mood, the characters, because that's what it sounds like they would talk like.
It's the voiceover throughout the trailer is a woman shouting on an intercom, kind of like The Day the Earth Stood Still. Yes. It sounds like an old radio that's like out of sync. It's really creepy.
It's really giving propaganda. Is what it sounds like.
It's a lot of daylight, which 28 movies are good for.
Okay.
28 movies are good for scaring you in the daytime.
My favorite.
You don't have to wait till it's night. The zombies are running around in the streets in the summer. Great. So there is no safety.
This is going on my maybe list, because I don't know if I can handle such a thing.
And they operate by sound.
Of course they do.
They can see, but I think they're docile if you don't make any noise.
Of course.
They get like they just are still until you make noise, and then they wake up and become active again. Yeah. So
okay.
Looks like it's going to be fun. Looks like it's going to be scary.
It had a lot of positive reactions to it.
And it is, I was telling you, this is the first one that looks like it's taking over the American style of shooting. So it is all going to take place in England, but it looks, the way it's shot, this is the first one that looks like it's shot like a Hollywood film. Okay. The rest of them are like shaky cam, grainy.
Oh, really? Like, now, this one was apparently shot on like an iPhone. But hooked up to like a very fancy rig. I'm like, everybody ain't got that rig. So let's not think we shooting 28 years later at home.
iPhones have gotten a lot better.
Right.
So you can shoot in 4K.
Exactly.
But those definitely look like they were shot on like a flip phone. 28 days and 28 weeks. And that adds to the unsettlingness of it.
Blair
because
Witch
the
Project.
picture is never fully clear. And there's things moving in the background. So
of course. And you're like, what is that? So, it's a zombie foot. I know they're not zombies.
Probably won't be able to review this on the podcast, but I will absolutely go see it.
I'm like, listen, I've been getting my stamina up. So maybe we'll see what happens in 6 months.
Think of like A Quiet Place, but replace the monsters with people.
That makes it worse, actually.
Does it?
Because people are people and monsters is fake.
Okay. I mean, but it's not zombies. So hold that close.
They're
just crazy people.
Zombie.
You know what? Well, no, that's not a good comparison. Never mind.
Okay.
Have you seen World War Z?
No.
They're not like that.
Okay. When they were zombies, right?
Yes, those were zombies.
Okay.
Also.
Asterisk.
It was like a virus.
So I Am Legend.
They didn't eat you.
Was it like I Am Legend? Those were not zombies technically either.
Yes.
Okay.
They're not as okay, so the I Am Legend ones are kind of like physically enhanced, it seems like. Like the I Am Legend ones, they like run on all fours. Yeah. These aren't like super strong people. I mean,
it's just regular.
They have the strength of a crackhead, but like not the strength of like a super
hero
enhanced design. Right. They're not Captain America.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can handle I Am Legend.
Less terrifying than I Am Legend zombies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might.
But no CGI, so
we put it on the asterisks. Okay. Maybe. I ain't committing to nothing this early. We'll see.
So that is the end of the trailer park. Let's dive into this bunch crunch.
All right, a lot of casting news in this bunch of crunch. We'll start right at the top. Much like the Nolan movie, we actually have no Nolan movie news this week, but we do have the other movie that's acting like it's a Nolan movie with casting, and that is Scream 7. We have another cast member added to the list, and it is McKenna Grace, who we last saw in Ghostbusters. Frozen Empire.
We did. So last week we were talking about how there was a lack of opening kills.
We didn't know who was going to be yet.
Yes. And as soon as I saw this, I said, this is it. This is the opening kill.
You think it's her?
I am.
You don't think she's one of the other kids?
I think because she's Scream is good for casting up and coming stars as the opening kills that you don't expect to be offed.
Okay.
They did it with Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yes.
Samara Cotton Weaving doesn't count.
Samara Weaving I would count as I didn't expect her to get killed.
4? They did 4 is the fake out one where they did the stabs.
Okay.
The openings was the fake movies. And they did they did Anna Paquin and the girl from Gossip Girl. And they did a couple like other like up and coming stars. They always end like you said, Samara. Mm-hmm. And this makes sense. This is somebody I would think that would be part of the main cast, but I would not be surprised if the movie opens and she's that first one answering the phone.
We're gonna find out like 30 seconds in.
I think that's good though.
I mean, I like her. The issue with Frozen Empire was not her.
I think your theory. I think your theory was right though.
What?
It's going to be based on Sydney's daughter and her friend
group.
McKenna Grace is 18, so she's absolutely playing a high schooler in this movie.
Right, and the killing's gonna be one of the kids from the local high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, because Drew Barrymore was the kid from the local high school who sat right next to Sydney in school.
I am so curious now of what the original script was gonna be, and we'll never know.
I don't know.
I'm just curious because this got to be.
It was gonna be with
totally different.
It was gonna be with the sisters and Sydney.
Right, but they had to make up this daughter though to make up a story because there's no way they would have used this story with that cast.
We don't know where Sydney. I'm still interested to find out where Sydney lives now. Some people are saying she lives in like upstate New York, so that's why she would have been close to the Carpenter sisters.
Yeah,
but
maybe
I don't know.
We're gonna find out, and we're also probably gonna get more cast in the news as the weeks come along.
Next scoop of crunch is Austin Butler has been cast as Patrick Bateman in Luca Guadagnino's American Psycho movie.
He looks like it.
That's fine.
People seemed a little upset.
I don't think it matters. I mean,
I think it came from the fact that people are like, why? But it's already been established that Luca is going for the book version and not doing a remake of the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they'll have a different feel, different take and all that.
I can see why people argue why make another one.
Sure.
But
you can do that for everything.
I don't see an issue with the casting. Christian Bale was fine. You just have to be a white guy who's good at playing like a business executive.
And crazy.
Yeah,
because
and crazy.
He did that in Dune.
Yeah, his character and his fate in Dune was good. He was a good, crazy villain.
I agree. So good for Austin Butler.
And he isn't he the one that like he played Elvis? Isn't he the one that like
got stuck in the Elvis voice?
Sticks in accents forever.
Yeah,
he's
but
like
I think
the method actor.
I think he broke out of Elvis and he been good since then.
Okay.
Yeah, so. I think he was like stuck in the voice and people like let it go.
Don't method act through Psycho.
This is not right.
Please
learn from Jared Leto. This is not going to help your career, sir.
Right. Who was also an American Psycho.
Do the opposite.
Was he the first kill?
Somebody said the best Batman killed the worst Joker. I was like, duh.
Ah, that's true.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's good.
Although best Batman got an asterisk on it because I would debate that, but we're not gonna go there.
We need to see Batman too.
That's
you
not
know
this
what?
episode.
Yeah, I have to grade 3 Robert Pattinsons against 3 Christian Bales before I decide who's the better Batman between
Fair
the
enough.
two.
I agree with that.
Robert Pattinson's climbing.
And with the way the Batman sequel is going, we will get the third one probably in 2050. Potentially. Because word on the street is the script for the second one ain't done. But it ain't even word on the street. James Gunn said that himself. I just went on a tangent. Moving along, Jeremy Allen White has been cast in The Mandalorian Grogu as Jabba the Hutt's son, Rotta the Hutt, which I didn't know Jabba had a son.
They added him in. They added him in one of the animated series.
Okay.
Like Rebels or something, or the Clone Wars. I think.
So obviously this will be a voice cast scenario. He's not actually going to be Rotta the Hutt.
Jabba has a wife and a child. Yeah, unfortunately.
I don't want to
the slave owner.
I don't want to.
Sorry.
Let's not go down that route. I think people were shocked that Jeremy Allen White is joining a large Disney franchise, and it's like, y'all you got to stop putting limitations on these actors. They will do whatever they want to do if they like it. Also, cut the check.
And jobs pay. So, and you can't.
Hello.
Christopher Nolan isn't making movies every year, so you can't just wait for Christopher Nolan to call.
Christopher Nolan, Steve Spielberg, everybody's favorite, best directors. They not pumping out movies. Well, every 6 months,
and they're all making something right now, so they're all busy. So you
and
have
they
to
got
find
their cast.
So you have to find a director to work with while they're working.
Right. And Jeremy's also going to be Bruce Springsteen. So
and he's got the bear, which is like,
and he has the bear.
You can't turn a corner and not hear about how great it is.
So
and it's got a new season like every
3
weeks. Yeah.
Every 3 weeks, it's like another bad season has been confirmed. So this will be interesting. I don't think I've heard him in any voice work, or I don't know if he's done any previous
I
voice
don't
work.
think so. No, I've only seen him in live stuff.
So this will be good. We don't know the plot for Mandalorian and Grogu, period. So we just waiting for all of the news about that to come out.
And it finished filming, didn't it?
Yep. They're done.
A while ago.
They are finito with that.
Nice.
And that is coming out, I think, next December.
Cool. Christmas. Star Wars is back for the holidays.
For one.
Because they usually do Christmas movies.
Right. One holiday. Because the rest of the Star Wars movies ain't moving nowhere. Speaking of sequels or prequels or movies in a franchise, Barbie 2 is supposedly in the works. Maybe. Now, the thought of there being a Barbie 2 is not really a surprise because WB's like, $1 million? Yes, please give us another. However, Hollywood Reporter says that Greta Gerwig gave an idea for a sequel and pitched it to WB. Greta's people came back and said, lies, fairy tales, and fallacies. None of this is true. So I don't know what the actual truth is. Maybe somewhere in the middle.
After she said that, though, did you see the Hollywood Reporter said
double down?
Yeah, they said that we're standing by our reporting. So whoever told them that is on the inside.
Okay.
Because they doubled down after.
Come on. Barbie made over $1 billion. It is not a surprise that WB wants a second. Do I think Barbie needs a 2? No.
WB, who is notorious for making all of the worst
sequel
executive decisions in movie making, would absolutely jump at this. They would replace Greta if she felt like she was going to be that much of an issue. Like, they would absolutely get rid of Greta to do that.
I think they would.
Yeah, absolutely.
They own the property, so they can.
So I'm glad Greta's reps confirmed it isn't accurate, but
is it not accurate?
Greta isn't required for this, unfortunately. Not for WB. She was required for me. In my enjoyment, because I loved the first Barbie and I thought that was good.
You would want the same director for the second one for sure. So maybe, I don't know. Greta said it's fake. Hollywood Reporter saying, girl, she was a lie because we know somebody who said it is.
I think she should do it.
It's you, Greta. You told us.
I enjoyed Barbie. I
just don't know what the second one would be about.
I don't know. But she's in the real world now, so it could be life size. It could be like they could steal from Tyra Banks and just do life size. And Barbie's in the real world, and she's changing the real world. I would prefer this. I'm glad they're doing this over the Ken idea. I thought that was stupid. No. Thought that completely defeated the purpose of the film.
I have my nitpicks about Barbie, and my nitpicks about Barbie are the Ken parts. Not that I didn't like Ken the character, but I was like, it's a little too much focus on Ken.
Ken as a plot device was funny. But
the focus at the end was too much on Ken, and I was like, this is a Barbie movie.
Right, and when they were talking about doing the Ken movie, I was like, did y'all see the movie y'all made? Right. You're going against the whole message and themes of that film.
It was bad enough that during the award season, all eyes was on Ryan Gosling. I was like, y'all, I think the purpose of the movie just went right over your head.
And Greta and Margot got cut out of like awards. So
crazy stuff.
Greta should absolutely do this. It should only be done with Greta.
I agree.
And I'm not sure what story they can make out of it, but
we gonna find out, because you can't tell me they ain't gonna do a sequel. I'll be shocked.
If it's equally as good or better than the first one, sure.
I don't know if they're gonna get better.
Actors are what made the Barbie good.
Okay, fair enough.
The acting and
fair
the
enough.
lines.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So when we get an accurate report, and we maybe Greta might send out a tweet, we'll tell y'all what
it's happening.
Next up, Final Destination Bloodlines finally gets a release date. It is coming out next year, May 16th. So we're going to get a summer blockbuster. Well, I don't know if it's going to be no blockbuster, but we're going to get a summer release for Final Destination, which I think is a perfect place for it.
Yes.
Or outside of like right before Halloween.
Yes.
But I don't know what else is coming out then. So they're probably trying to get that made.
What superhero stuff is slated for the summer?
Fantastic Four.
So 2 months before Comic-Con.
Yes. Everything is in July. So Superman's in July. Fantastic Four is in July.
Okay.
Jurassic Park's in July. This is like a week before Memorial Day.
Is this Steven Spielberg movie summer?
I don't know if that's next summer or the summer after that. And then what else we got? I already said Jurassic Park.
I feel like I'm missing a
Mission
summer
Impossible.
Blockbuster. Is that a summer blockbuster?
It's coming out Memorial Day. Yep. But
okay.
this is coming before that, so that's a good idea to do it before and not the same weekend as Mission Impossible, because I feel like you might be dividing the audience a little bit there.
Final Destination would do amazing. People love Final Destination. It is.
I would go see it.
It is good, nonsense, campy,
Killing.
Comedy, horror. It's not even horror, really.
No, it's more like a
Nothing
thriller.
about Final Destination is scary. No, it's kind of like what's that? It's kind of like Adam Ruins Everything, but for deaths.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to see what the freaking plot is. I don't really care about.
They haven't confirmed anything, but rumors is that the plot is going to be about somebody. It's called Bloodlines because somebody has avoided death and started a family. And it has created a generational line of people who should not have survived. So it's going to be, death is going to be targeting a family instead of a random group of people on a plane or on a bus or something.
This is going to sound bad, but that sounds kind of good.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good plot.
It kind of sounds like The Monkey.
That monkey, okay. We ain't talking about this in the trailer section because we already got the trailer for this. We got a slightly different trailer for The Monkey when we went to see Kraven. I was like, this look like
it looks good.
It looked good.
Looks good.
That's definitely a horror that I'm gonna have to like just grin and bear it, because that looked like a good movie.
Final Destination is good for giving people memorable deaths.
Oh yeah.
The highway log scene will never die.
The fact that we as people like drive as if that's like a real thing.
Yeah, we're affected by superstition. It planted superstition in the world.
Listen,
for people who weren't even superstitious.
Every now and then I go through a car wash and be like, is all my windows closed?
Car washes, tanning beds.
There's
never reason to ever go into a tanning bed.
Wouldn't there somebody stick their hand in a garbage disposal?
That wasn't it though. It was a fake out. That was the guy who got impaled by the ladder, but you thought he was going to get his hands chopped off. They're good at that too.
Very good. I hope we get all of that back in this next one.
The school teacher whose computer blew up and the computer monitor blew up and the glass flew in her neck. Like, what kind of outlandish crap is that?
I need them to come up with those, because that's what makes Final Destination.
Really good.
Speaking of horror, in the horror space.
And coming back.
And people coming back. Jennifer Love-Hewitt will return in the new I Know What You Did Last Summer movie, which comes out next summer. This comes out 2 months after Final Destination. July 18th.
But, July.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I've already said my piece about this being a dumb release date. Horrible.
Maybe it's alternative because it's horror.
But
I feel like people who like horror also would go see Fantastic Four.
Here's the thing. It's the age group. The same age group and demographic of people that are going to go see Superman.
Teen slashers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Superman and Fantastic Four is the same age group and demographic of people that grew up and are going to want to see I Know What You Did Last Summer.
The youth.
The same demographic.
They probably just walk across.
Don't know why you would do this to your movie, because every theater is going to be taken. But
I used to think but I think that's because alternative viewing used to be lucrative when you did not have to fight for screens so much. And now you have to fight for screens so much.
There it is.
It ruined the whole model of having alternative
it's working for Moana and Wicked. But you can't tell me if one of them wasn't a month earlier or later that movie that remained wouldn't have been able to get all them screens.
And working is subjective because I don't think Wicked appreciates Moana being there. Because I think Wicked's making, they're saying Wicked's going to make like maybe 500 million, but it would have been, they were projecting like 900 but
because
Moana was in the
taking all the freaking screens. And every movie theater don't have 5 premium screens. Ours got 2.
Yeah, so even though it kind of works,
Moana was in both. Even
though it kind of works, it's still, you still would rather they be separated.
I think this is a horrible release date for I Know What You Did Last Summer.
It's weird. It's kind of like movies have to come out individually now. But then it's like, how do you stack movie theaters?
Very true alternative. Like, if you gonna release during Superman, then you need to be like
the monkey.
There you go.
Yeah.
You need to be totally opposite.
You need to be rated R.
Your target audience needs to be like yin and yang, and they don't, or oil and water. I just, whatever.
Let me check. I Know What You Did Last Summer was pretty bloodless for me. So let me see what the rating was.
Oh, this one gonna be nothing but gore, blood, all the nasty, head chopped off.
There was a big issue with the original I Know What You Did Last Summer where it wasn't bloody enough. So they had to go back and reshoot. To make it more, because people weren't convinced. Yes, so I want to know what the rating was.
Scared. Nobody's foot got 7.
Yeah, it was R.
Okay,
which is surprising. It was pretty bloodless. A lot of the kills were off screen. Or they're like with slight. They would do a hook swipe, and it would just be the shadow.
Maybe just implied violence was enough.
Okay, for 2 teens.
Maybe. But yeah, we'll see. I'm very curious of how well this movie does due to its placement. I'm very curious how this movie does because the original the cast of kids that they have for this are not super duper popular. So I don't know what audience they attract.
That's the thing, because Scream is good at casting. Scream is great at casting. Scream casts great people.
But you can't put I Know What You Did Last Summer and Scream on the same level, though, would you?
That was the goal of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Well, you can't, but that was that was what they said.
We can all have dreams. But I don't know.
They both use Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. I'm very curious of how this is, the plot, the timing, the reception gonna play out.
And the killer. Yeah.
And the killer. Brandy has not been confirmed to come back. And people are like, oh, where's Brandy? Where's Brandy? I'm like, don't put her in there to kill her. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's true, because I don't want Brandy to come back because you have to kill a legacy character. They did it with Dewey.
Yeah, they did.
And they're not going to kill Jennifer Love-Hewitt or Freddie Prinze Jr.
They should. Why not?
They're not going to kill
You think they're going to make more movies?
Together. They would kill him if they were separated, like they did Dewey. But they're not going to kill him if they're still married and together.
Maybe something happened in the middle.
Or that.
I don't know.
But I don't want them to bring Brandy back to kill her.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And she was roped into the second movie against her will anyway, because old girl didn't tell her that she was being chased by a killer. So leave Brandy alone.
Right. So as we learn more and get a trailer for this, that'll be very curious to see. We will definitely report on the news.
Okay, so that is all the news, Trailer Park, and BUNCHA-CRUNCH this week. We're going to take a quick break and get into our movie review of the week, which is Kraven the Hunter.
I have on my hunter hat, safari hat, y'all. Don't it look cute? This week we watched Kraven the Hunter, the latest and final film of the Sony association with Marvel Spider-Man adjacent movie franchise. It's done, y'all. This is it for now.
This is the end.
Thank God.
Insert
Adele. Oh, I knew exactly what you were singing. It was released December 13th, 2024. The director is J.C. Chandler, who also directed A Most Violent Year with Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaac. I did not see that.
Okay.
That was the
Me
most.
either.
Yeah.
Was it Netflix?
No, it's. I think it was old. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Good actors.
I haven't seen anything else he's done. Cast and characters of Kraven include Aaron Taylor Johnson plays our lead. Sergey. Oh, these Russian last names. Sergey Kravinoff. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah.
Is that why he calls himself Kraven?
You didn't hear me say, you didn't hear me chuckle when he said Kravinoff and Kravinoff. I said Kravinoff.
Dude, we watched a whole 2-hour movie and it is just now clicking. That's why he calls himself Kraven.
And the fact that he thought that was a good alias.
That's so...
You idiot.
I feel stupid
I'm going to become a vigilante.
I feel stupid for not connecting them dots.
I'm going to call myself vigilante and cut off the last 4 letters of my last name.
Right. That's like me going by Burrow instead of Sherwood. It's
so
like
stupid.
My mama be like, girl, that's you. I know it's you.
God.
Burrow?
You don't even wear a mask.
Burrow? Right. No mask. Just anyway.
Yeah.
Ariana DeBose plays Calypso. Now, she goes by Ariana.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I'm about to say Ariana Grande, Ariana DeBose. I think they're the same.
I think it's Ariana DeBose.
Okay. Mm-hmm. She plays Calypso.
Oscar award winning
Ariana DeBose.
Yes.
And then we have Fred Hitchinger, who plays Dmitry Kravinoff. Kravinoff?
Yes. It's Kravinoff. That's what the guy said in the beginning.
Which we just saw, and it took us a second to realize it. It took Jay longer than it took me. Plays one of the goofy Emperor twins in Gladiator 2.
They were covered in the white makeup the whole movie, so
it didn't
teeth.
Connect.
And until you said something, I was like, I see it.
Yeah, the makeup, the jacked up teeth in Gladiator 2, and then he had on that real ratty blonde wig. But he said something in the movie, and I was like, why does he sound so familiar? He plays the Emperor in Gladiator 2. So I actually liked him quite a bit in this.
Shout out to the costume design in Gladiator, because characters disappeared behind.
That was one of our favorite parts of Gladiator too.
Yeah,
it was definitely the costuming. Alessandro Niova plays Rhino. I do not know this character's real name, and I'm not about to embarrass myself.
I can't remember anything I've ever seen him in. So,
like, I've seen him in something, but his character's real name, I'm not about to butcher that. He played Rhino, y'all. Okay. It's the Rhino Man. Christopher Abbott plays the Foreigner. We also have Russell Crowe, who plays Nikolai Kravinoff. No.
Oh, my God.
What?
I know who Alessandro Nivola is.
Alessandro Nivola? Who, Rhino?
Yes.
What? I mean, he looks familiar, but I can't place him in anything.
Remember Alan Grant's assistant in Jurassic Park 3 who stole those raptor eggs?
It is him. Oh my God! Oh, are you sure?
He fakes an American accent in Jurassic Park, which I did not realize.
Oh, he looks so much older here.
Oh man, he's an American actor, but he's faking an accent in Kraven. He's faking a Russian accent, and I didn't pick up on that.
Oh, you're right. He was Billy. Mm-hmm. That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, okay, that was from 2001. So it's been 23 years.
Yeah, I liked Billy. He made a stupid decision, but he lived.
That's one of my favorite scenes, though, is when Dr. Grant realized, he was like, wait a minute, I can't leave these eggs. And he's like, why not? Because they going to kill us, Billy.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
Okay. Oh, also, he was also in A Most Violent Year with the same director.
And Face Off, but I can't recall who he was in Face Off.
Oh, he was oh
my God.
Was he the brother? Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, he was the brother.
Okay.
We like this guy.
I like you. Yeah.
I don't know if I like him in here, but I like this guy.
I didn't realize I like.
Well, that's why I was like, I know he's from other things, but I couldn't place him. But he got a nice filmography.
He's been in hits. I mean, Jurassic Park 3 wasn't a hit, but I liked his character in Jurassic Park 3.
Listen, I will stand 10 tones down that 2 was better than 3, but
yeah. I like that one plot line of the raptor eggs being stolen.
Favorite.
And because you didn't know when it was going to come back.
Right,
so,
right. He was also in Selma. I'm like going down this hole. He was in Selma.
So he works. He was in The Eye, that movie with Jessica Alba where she got the eye transplant from somebody who saw Ghost or something.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Goodness. But moving on. Listen, we got down a deep rabbit hole of Rhino's filmography. There's 2 other people mentioned on the cast list, but that's fine. Russell Crowe is the last person that we'll stop with. So let's go on to some facts about said movie. It runs for 2 hours and 7 minutes. I actually didn't feel like it felt long.
Ooh, sure.
Maybe I was just so disillusioned.
Yes,
I
would say that.
It didn't feel like 2 hours and 7 minutes.
I was there for 2 hours and 7 minutes. So
you felt like it? Okay. Budget was $100 million. Box office opening day was $4.7 million. Terrible.
That is twice the amount of War of the Rohirrim
made more
2.
money.
2.7.
Oh,
so almost like 1.3 million less, which is disappointing.
Well, it's less than Madam Web.
It's super disappointing.
Yeah, it's not.
Like War of Rohirrim had no hype behind it. Kraven was at least marketed.
Yeah.
Behind its gore, if anything.
It's going out with a whimper, y'all. The whole Spider-Man associated Sony movies.
But hasn't it been whimpering for a while?
It's never not whimpered. How about that? Venom 1 is the only movie I'll give them credit for. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing. Everything else has been whacked. Don't even. What you looking up?
I want to see what
you looking up.
So
look up.
Just in case.
All the movies sucked except maybe Venom 1.
I just want to
go ahead.
See.
Waste your time.
Just in case.
Waste the listener's
time.
Maybe there's
one maybe there's a guilty pleasure in this list. Films. Venom 1.
That's mentioned.
Okay, so there's another one. There's none on this list.
None. I could name them all. That's how.
There's not even a guilty pleasure.
The 3 Venoms.
Venom is the guilty
Morbius, pleasure. Madam Web, Kraven. Am I missing one?
Looking at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 6 entries in this, but somehow it feels longer.
Yeah.
Like this has only been going on since 2010. I feel like we've been in this for
time
a long
flies
time.
When you're having fun. Sorry. Fun. Fun. This is the opposite of fun. Let me get off the box office for a second. Opening weekend is $11 million. Trash. Horrible. There's no way to spend this as good. Out of a production budget of 100. Normally the math is supposed to be 2.5 times the budget of the movie is what the movie wants to make back to break even. Ain't no way they making $250 million out of this movie.
But this was rated R, so that's a good for a rated R opening.
No, it's not.
If it was a horror film, but not a comic book movie.
With $100 million budget.
This is a good opening for Long Legs.
Sure. Long Legs is going to make more than this movie. I guarantee you.
This is a good budget for The Monkey. For like a horror movie that costs like $11 to make.
Yeah, sure.
Because there's no visual
right.
effects.
This would be perfect opening if the budget was $10 million.
Yes.
And I'm just curious now, worldwide $26 million for the whole weekend.
It's not good.
That's not good at all.
No.
So it made slightly more overseas. Not a lot more, just slightly more. And then let's get into the reception of this movie. We didn't got down a rabbit hole of dogging it before we even get to the plot. Cinema score is a C. Horrible for a horror movie. I'm sorry, horrible for a superhero movie.
Horrible for a film. There is no good for C.
C plus is kind of like for horror. C plus is like the lowest you can really go.
Yeah, I think anything below C plus is not good.
And then we talking about horror. Anything below like a B for any other movie is considered like bad.
Yeah, this is a comic book movie. So another rated R action film, which I don't know a rated R action comic book movie. The closest parallel is Deadpool and Wolverine, which I feel like is a little unfair, but it's technically the same.
It's a rated R comic book movie,
and that was leagues more successful. So. I think they were definitely going for like the Deadpool-esque effect with the gore and action.
Sure.
Not the comedy
or plot
in the offerings
but creativity.
They marketed this like, okay, Deadpool can be as gross as it wants to be and people love it. We can do that with Kraven. They definitely were trying to do that.
The only thing they need to do to think about that with is Blade. Like, realize that a movie a comic book movie can be rated R and do all the things and still be good.
Yes.
Not great.
No, they couldn't have.
No, it was too late.
Kraven needs Spider-Man.
Oh, thank you. All them freaking movies needed Spider-Man. Anywho, Rotten Tomatoes critic score terrible. It's 15%. Like terrible. I think that might even be lower than Madam Web. Audience score is 71 though, which ain't bad.
No.
So people who saw it,
it is a cult classic now. That's how that happens. Unfortunately, it's low critics and high audiences. How cult classics happen.
Who watching this again?
I don't know.
Thank you. Like you try to make sense.
You know what though? People, I think there's going to be a Madam Web renaissance at some point.
I don't think so.
People are going to rediscover Madam Web, and it's going to be like this fun, campy thing to like watch and rag on. And the same thing's going to happen to Kraven.
Maybe for like a month. I don't think it'll be lasting. I think in 5 years, Madam Web will have a resurgence because it's horribly goofy.
People will congregate over kicking it.
Right, for a little bit. And then it'll just kind of disappear again.
Hey. People say things backwards in this movie too, which we'll get into. That's
favorite liner scene already. All right, so let's get into the plot of Kraven the Hunter.
So the plot of Kraven the Hunter is that Kraven, Sergei Kravinoff, has run away from home from his abusive father, Russell Crowe, who plays Nikolai.
Mm-hmm.
But he also abandoned his younger brother, who is weak and fragile and soft and innocent.
He is innocent for sure.
He runs away from his dad because his dad is basically a drug kingpin. I guess we don't really see the drugs, but he's a crime
We'll
kingpin.
just say he's in the mafia.
Yes.
Mafia boss.
He's an English mafia boss, or Russian, or who, I don't know.
We don't know.
He's Russian, but he lives in England?
He lives in... Keep going.
Kraven has run away from home because his dad is the worst, and he's a hunter, and he's trying to force him to become just like his dad.
Exactly.
Kraven is attacked by a lion and infected with the blood of a lion.
But at the same time.
And some other magical substances that gives him the power of animals. Yeah. He's Eliza Thornberry.
All animals.
All animals. He can talk
every animal on the planet, even though he was only attacked by a lion.
He can't do everything every animal can do. He can mostly do like mammal stuff. He can't do like bird stuff, but he can talk to birds.
He can't swim underwater without, he don't like grow gills.
Yeah. He's pretty much.
We ain't see that.
He can only do mammal things
on land. He's land based.
Yes. He's the turf and the surf.
He's a land based hunter.
And essentially, his brother is kidnapped.
Yes.
Which forces him to reconnect with his father.
Sorta.
So he has to reconfront with his father.
Yeah.
After his brother is kidnapped.
He has to talk to his
It's very hard to describe the plot of this film because the plot doesn't kick in for a while. So he has to reconnect. 30 minutes. I feel like I have to restart. Very frustrating.
Right.
So the plot of the movie is that Kraven has run away from home.
He sure has.
After he was attacked by a lion on a hunting trip with his dad.
Yep.
Because he is discovering that his lion attack has left him with animal superpowers.
The lion attack plus some extra
has left him with animal superpowers.
They happen at the same time conveniently.
So he runs away to discover himself.
Sure.
Rediscover who he is because he says he feels reborn.
Okay.
After he's gotten superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
And he turns into a mercenary.
Yes.
Who kills bad people.
Correct.
And his path leads him back to his family.
Boom.
Boom.
There it is.
Third time's the charm.
Jay was really
I don't know how Cheryl's going to edit this, but it was a mess.
I might just leave it so y'all can see the struggle.
The plot of this movie is redundant.
The plot is no plots or thin plot.
It's crazy.
Crazy Kraven. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about our non-spoiler thoughts first.
I can go first.
All right.
Non-spoiler thoughts for Kraven. This movie isn't good. It's not good. It's not bad, though, which we said. It's not a bad movie. It does not feel unwatchable, but it does feel unnecessary to watch. An unwatchable movie is Madam Web.
Okay.
That movie's unwatchable.
That movie is frustrating to watch. This was not frustrating to watch.
That movie is unwatchable because it was bad, and it also had production issues.
It was put together very badly as well.
Awful ADR.
Trash.
Awful CGI, and it felt like it didn't know where it wanted to go. This movie felt like it didn't want to know where it wanted to go, but at least looked like it was produced on par with the other good movies.
Okay.
The production, the effort was put into production of the movie, but not into the writing.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't awful to look at.
Okay.
But it does kind of feel like nothing. The movie ultimately kind of amounts to nothing. Yes. The point of the movie doesn't kick in until the second act of the film. Mm-hmm. The first act of the film, it kind of, oh my God.
Does it have 3 acts? Or just one long third act?
We're getting another Scream reference, people. Remember in Scream 2 when it seemed like the killer was doing copycat killings where he was killing people who had the same names of the original? Mm-hmm. And then halfway through the movie, it dropped off and they stopped doing that because they ran out of characters with the same names. Yeah. This is kind of like Kraven, where the beginning of the movie seems like he's gonna go in one direction when he first kills the first couple of people.
When he meets up with Calypso, maybe?
No, when he meets up with the poachers.
Okay.
It seems like he's going to go in a poacher killing direction.
Okay.
But the plot change, they dropped that.
And pick up another plot.
Second act, and they pick up another plot that we follow from the second act through the rest of the movie.
It's very typical.
It seems like in the writing process, they had an idea, they ran out of steam, it dropped off, and they said, let's use this other plot detail and flesh that out more and make that the rest of the film. That's what it felt like. I can see how you feel that way. The script is chopped cheese. It's not good. Chopped processed cheese, if that.
Good mint cheese.
It has really good actors.
Okay.
Which helps with the delivery of the awful script, which you said the lines in this movie are awful. But it could have been worse if they did not pick better actors.
Sure.
This movie has 2 Academy Award winners.
It does.
And it has Russell Crowe. It has
Ariana DeBose.
Mm-hmm. It also has Aaron Taylor Johnson, who is a good actor.
I like Aaron Taylor Johnson.
It has Alessandro Nivola, who is a good actor.
Who we've just discovered we like in a lot of things.
I was not going to mention originally in my notes, but now that I know who he is. And it has another actor in here who we're going to see in another movie. So I'm going to reserve my opinion for him until I see him in his own film.
Fair enough.
I think he was horribly underutilized in this.
Agree.
Yes.
I would agree with you on that.
So the script is awful, but I think the actors
did what they could.
Helped with this. Would have been much worse if they had much worse actors in it. Okay. They chose top tier talent, which is strange.
Yes.
For this. Decent visual effects. It could have been worse.
Agree.
For the type of movie this was. The visual effects could have been worse.
There's a lot of animals involved. And the animals do give me Lion King 2019. Yeah. Which those animals didn't look bad. They were just talking. So that part didn't work out.
Yeah.
But look of the animal, sure.
Yeah. The lion looked a little unrealistic, but they were kind of
supposed to.
They were going for like a
legendary lion.
They were going for like this unknown lion that's not like real. They were going for like Aslan.
Chronicle.
Yeah.
I was like Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah,
lion.
they were going for like a fake lion.
Yeah.
So that was a little weird.
It was supposed to look crazy.
The rest of the animals looked good. Like you said, a lot of his CGI wall running was unrealistic because he's not Spider-Man. He can't stick to walls, so that was weird. But
that's in my notes.
The effects of it didn't look bad. What did look awful, no matter what, was all the digital backgrounds.
Oh, yeah.
The fake backgrounds of they should have just went to like a field.
It was giving me Borderlands.
Like instead of just like going to like a field and shooting, they did go to a field, but they tried to like do like a digital sunny background.
Well, right, or digital animals in the back, like a stampede, and you're like, I know that stampede not there, like because it looks like it ain't there.
All the stuff in the foreground was good, but the stuff in the background wasn't.
I agree with you.
And it is a lot of show don't tell it's a lot of tell don't show.
Yes.
For a 2-hour movie.
Yes.
Instead of seeing a lot of the things that we have in this movie, it's a lot of characters talking about it instead. When we first get the second meeting we get with Kraven and Calypso is at a park, and it reminds me of Olivia talking to her dad in Scandal.
Yeah,
where they would like sit at the
that park that had like a wide angle back shot,
the Washington Memorial or something. They would just sit. But that's kind of like that was their second meeting in this movie, and instead of us
second meeting after several years too.
Yes, second meeting as adults.
You're right.
In this
you're
movie.
right.
And instead of showing us like who Calypso is, like she's supposed to be like this hotshot attorney who works for these bad guys. We basically get a 20-minute talking scene of her talking about it and him talking about how he already knows that because he's the hunter and he does background on everybody. And it's like, I really wish I would have seen this.
Yeah, they could have done it. You made a very good point that a lot of the scenes in the movie could have been just done like same scene, same setup, just done better.
Just done in a more interesting way.
Yeah, more creative about it.
And I'm not a movie maker, so I don't have ideas, but
I mean, they could have done anything.
Yeah.
They could have had her in a case and she lost or wins the case, or he sees a headline of her on the news. Yeah. Anything that could have portrayed, oh, she's a hotshot attorney, not just sitting on the park bench shooting a breeze.
Yeah, just pick one. Pick any method where exposition was done better than just two people sitting and talking, and it would have been a lot better than this movie.
Because the conversation just kind of like get to the point.
One, for example, we constantly talk about how she is working. She's a hotshot attorney who works for this big law firm, and all of her clients are bad guys. Do we see a single client?
No.
We didn't see a single one of her clients.
We didn't see her doing any work.
We get a phone call of her making a phone call to like one of her like Olivia Pope-esque contacts who knows bad people and can like look for them.
Right.
But that was it. And then that guy's off.
And that scene lasted 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I mean, they made her look nice. Like, she looked like a nice hot-shot attorney, but we didn't even see her do no attorneying.
Yeah. So the movie wasn't bad, like, offensively bad. Like, Madam Web felt offensive to comic book fans.
It did. I was very frustrated.
But it wasn't good. It kind of felt like nothing, but it kind of would have been a little bit better if they had chose better, if they had made better choices for some of the scenes, how they decided to show it.
I agree with you on all of that. Some of my maybe additional nitpicks was, you kind of touched on it, some of the dialogue is not good. The actors that they have play the younger versions of the brothers, not firing on all cylinders, because all of their scenes felt like they're supposed to try to build this relationship that they're super close, and they do that, but the dialogue between them was very stale.
I do want to point out, because you said that the young actors, one young actor, the guy who played young Kraven, Levi Miller, I've seen him in one thing. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He played Peter Pan in the Pan movie, the 2015 live action one. But I didn't see that. But he also did Better Watch Out, which is a Christmas horror slasher movie about a kid. He's 22 now, but I think when Better Watch Out came out, it was in 2016. So he was definitely a kid. Right. But it's about a kid who is who's like a serial killer a little bit, but he's in love with his babysitter, and he holds her hostage to try to force her to be with him. And she's like an older babysitter, but he was really good in it. He was kind of like it was kind of like The Good Son, where he was good at turning it on and off and being, or like Orphan, where it's like
or like The Bad Seed.
He's good at faking good in front of people that he's supposed to be keeping the facade up with, but then being completely evil and
maybe twisted. That's just his lane, because here he's supposed to be this stand-up kid who's, it was
unconvincing.
It was and we are with them as teenagers for a good 20 minutes or so, and I was just kind of ready for that to be over. So of the dialogue is choppy. The plot don't kick in to the last 20 minutes, because like you said, I'm thinking we going through Kraven's list and we about to see Kraven take all these people out on his list. That ain't what the movie is about, y'all, at all, period. It's basically about his brother being kidnapped. And then what else do I have? Bucky Barnes. So the whole scene where Aaron Taylor Johnson as Kraven is running through the street.
That's so funny.
He reminded me of Bucky Barnes, and I could not unsee it.
That's funny that he reminds you of Bucky Barnes, because he reminded me of Captain America in the first Captain America when he was running, when he had to wear them fake feet. He was running through the streets.
So because he's doing stuff that's like he like got a vibranium arm. I'm just kind of like, you just supposed to be strong. You're not supposed to be able to like take out tanks.
And it looks like Bucky with a haircut. So that's funny.
Exactly. Right, because he got the long, he got the long
soldier,
he got the Winter Soldier look. There it is. So that stuck out to me. I don't know if that's what they were going for or not, but it wasn't good for me to call that back, because I'm just like, Bucky did it better.
Sidebar, Aaron Taylor Johnson Winter Soldier variant.
Oh, that could work.
That could work.
And like you said, the acting wasn't, once we are at the adult stage of the movie, the acting wasn't bad. I actually liked Russell Crowe being like this evil trash dad. Like, he does that very well. Aaron Taylor Johnson does his well. Everybody's trying to do the best they can with this plot, and this plot is very thin. We don't get the meat of it to the very end of the movie, and the dialogue is odd, and you're just like, certain lines are said out of order, and you're like, that junk don't make no sense. Why didn't y'all go back and redo that?
Yeah.
It's just, and some of the tropes are very where we need backstory to make this plot like meatier, we don't get. And then we also get at the very end the typical trope of like, somebody was this way in a movie and then an event happened and now they this way. It's like, okay, I could have called that from minute one. Like, why do we have to keep doing that? So it's not there's nothing new here.
I'll add to your point about the backstory. We get backstory where we need backstory, we don't get it. But we do get a lot of backstory that does not benefit the plot of this film at all. We get a lot of foreigner backstory that's like, what? Even the character in the movie is like, what? Right. What does this matter?
Right. Like, why are you telling me this? Like, I don't care. So it's a plot with a lot of words, but they don't go very far. And they're not done creatively. There is nothing new. Yeah. So that's it for me ragging on my non-spoiler thoughts for this movie.
Okay, so that is the end of the non-spoiler section. We are going to jump into spoilers in 3 and 2 and 1. And we're going to start off with our characters. And let's just talk about Kraven / Sergei Kravenov.
That's so funny to me that his last name came from. Okay, I'm gonna get off of it. So Aaron Taylor Johnson does fine in this, and by fine I mean literally fine. He's not bad. He's not great. The best part about it, I'm gonna be honest, is looking at him because he's a nice looking guy. Other than that, it's just kind of like, Aaron, what you doing in here?
The actors are not the issue.
The actors are not the issue. But as far as the character is concerned, Kraven basically left home because his dad wanted him to take over. He leaves his younger, I'm assuming he's younger. He leaves his younger brother behind because he doesn't, dad is going to ship brother back to school. But older brother, Sergey, has to stay to become head of the family, essentially, get trained up. He don't want no parts of it, so he leaves. And he leaves his brother, and his brother's like, yo, you gonna leave me? He's like, yeah. And I hate the trope of like one sibling leaves another. Like, take the sibling with you.
Yeah, and he wasn't very convincing about his reasoning.
Because their dialogue was just kind of like, that's it.
So, to add context, Kraven is only the son of Russell Crowe.
Right.
Because the other son, Dimitri, has a different father. Right. They have the same mother.
So they don't get treated the same.
It makes it worse, his reasoning for leaving, when it's like you're leaving your brother with your dad, who is awfully mistreated by you. The dad sucks for both of you. So the dad sucks to both of you, but he super sucks to the younger brother because he knows he's not his father, and he knows that he's not as aggressive. He's trying to build him up to
he keeps calling Dimitri weak and all that jazz. So
he promotes strength over everything. Right.
So Sergey leaves his brother, which is like, that's trash, and goes off and basically becomes the hunter.
And lives in the forest.
He lives like an animal hunter.
He literally goes off to the forest.
Literally in like a greenhouse, a cute little glass greenhouse, but it's still a greenhouse.
Right.
And so we don't really get any type of what happened in the middle there. We just get from he left, he's the hunter.
We kind of do.
In the middle,
we kind of get a long flashback sequence.
Well, I'm saying between when he leaves home and when he becomes like the adult.
Yeah,
hunter.
We don't get any training.
We don't get any.
I guess it's led to assume that that's just part of his superpowers.
Right, because after he leaves to go in the forest, he like takes down some poachers and he like climbing up the trees. And I'm like, sir, you just realized you had powers 48 hours ago.
And they also didn't illustrate how often they went hunting with their dad in the movie.
No, they didn't.
Were they experienced hunters? Like, did he know how to hunt for real?
I mean, at least it seemed like they knew how to
really quickly. A spear, I'm sorry.
Shoot a gun. I don't know. Like you said, backstory that we needed, we didn't get. And then we got a bunch of backstory about them as kids that I didn't care about. So the character has this list of like people he hunts down that are supposedly bad people. I mean, he's a murderer. Mm-hmm. But you can justify it, I guess, because he's murdering bad people. But then it's just kind of like, is that all you doing? Like, what else are you doing?
Yeah.
You can't kill everybody.
Yeah. I mean, he's just going down a list of just people who put bad in the world and kill them. And it doesn't seem like that list is ever going to end.
Right. And like his dad clearly should be on the list, but he let his dad like not be on the list. And it's kind of like, sir.
It seems like he knows
ain't fair.
He's just protecting his dad because he doesn't want to be responsible for killing his own father. But it's like, but you've killed so many people, and you know who your dad is.
And them people probably was dads too. So it's just like, what do you?
And most of the people that you're killing are in cahoots with your
probably
father.
Association with your dad. So that
in the same game.
That didn't make any sense. In the movie, and I'm not gonna spoil it yet, but the movie ends how you think it would end.
Yeah.
Essentially, and like. So we don't get any type of like growth. We don't get no character arc. It's literally just he starts as the Kraven, he ends as the Kraven.
The issue with the ending is that if you were going to do that at the end, if you did that at the beginning, we probably wouldn't have a movie.
I'm not sure. And at the end, I don't even know if he's still mad as his dad or not.
If he had just did at the end if he had did at the beginning what he did at the end of the movie,
yeah, it wouldn't be no movie.
And that kind of underscores the fact that this is all kind of
pointless.
Yeah.
So that's all my Kraven thoughts.
The rest of my Kraven thoughts, I liked his fight sequences.
Okay.
Because the CGI and his movement, whenever they added CGI to his movement, it's kind of like Wolverine, how they did Wolverine and Deadpool, or a little bit of Black Panther when he was in the suit, running around on all fours and like fighting people like an animal.
Actual panther.
Yep. Yeah, I liked his fight sequences are good. I thought his comedy line delivery was good.
Sure.
Yeah.
It could have been more comedy.
They had lines of comedy in this, and I think that was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's a little forgettable because I can't think of one joke But I did do some chuckling.
Not like jokes, but he would say things that was funny. When he smelled the perfume.
On the man.
Yeah, he smelled another woman's perfume on a man, and he ratted him out to his wife. I thought that was funny.
That was good.
When he stopped the guy from closing the elevator doors on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was some. They were not like they're not like Deadpool and Wolverine jokes, but they're just kind of like the way his dialogue was funny.
Not jokes, but scenes played for laughs, I guess.
Yes. He had a sense of humor.
He had a good sense of humor for somebody who is a murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
And I thought the costuming for all of his Kraven outfits was good.
Okay.
I liked his leather safari
get up
vest with all the straps and knives in it.
Yes, that was nice.
And I did like the jacket.
At the end,
he gets his, instead of doing a third act super suit upgrade, they just give him the Kraven jacket at the end.
I would have liked to see that jacket given earlier in the movie.
I would have liked to see more of it. Yeah, because it's just shot in a dark room.
At the end, it's kind of like, I don't know why you would accept this jacket. But
yeah.
It didn't make sense to the plot of the movie.
Especially when it's not getting a follow-up. So.
Yeah, the jacket placement was interesting.
But I liked his costuming.
Yeah.
I liked I guess the costuming in general, but that can only be attributed to two people, him and Calypso.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So costuming in general, I guess, is fine.
Right. All right, now let's get on to Russell Crowe's character, Nikolai, who plays the dad. Mm-hmm. He played a good, villainous, horrible killer dad. I mean, it wasn't much. He was in this movie way more than I thought he was going to be.
But not a lot.
But also not a lot. Like, I thought he would be at the beginning because we established some sort of history. But I didn't know he was going to be. He's literally throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, he's present throughout the whole film, which I didn't expect him to be in it as much.
Right.
But he was still in it just a little bit. He was not a main focus. Right. But they kind of just kept coming back to him.
Correct. Yeah. So, and Russell Crowe did a good job.
Great.
I mean, there's nothing I would change about this character because Russell Crowe served this character's purpose, and the character didn't really need to be in it anymore. So it was fine. It's literally fine.
I think that's the thing that made the most sense now that you say it. The only thing in this movie that makes the most sense is the boys turning out how they did because of being raised by Russell Crowe.
So they established that
he did his character really well.
Right. They established why the relationship was trash because dad was trash. So, I mean, it's Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe not an act. So, I mean, if it would have been bad, I would have been surprised.
His line delivery was probably the best. They probably gave him the best things to say. Most of his stuff was unsettling, and he's a big weirdo. But they probably gave him the best awful anecdotes.
I agree. Or Russell Crowe probably read it and was like, I'm not saying it. I'm going to say it how I want to say it. And they were like, you're Russell Crowe. You do what you want.
But it's Oscar award-winning Russell Crowe. So, I mean, you know what you're going to get. He's good.
Exactly.
Wish he was in Gladiator, too.
Nope, I don't. Nope. He don't need to be associated with them.
Would have been better.
They didn't even need to be him in there. They didn't even need Gladiator 2. But don't get me on that soapbox.
Let's talk about Calypso.
She was cute.
She was good. I went into this thinking that her character was going to be totally unnecessary. I thought they were going to just throw in a love interest for the sake of just needing to have like
a love interest,
a sexy love interest for Kraven to be attracted to and distract from the
add more plot to the thin plot.
But this movie didn't have plot, so
she was fine.
She was necessary.
Right. She was necessary to the plot as much as she could have been. Mm-hmm. And acting was good. Their character is, like we said, a hotshot attorney. She's dressed very nice, so costuming on her was also very good.
She's just in black and gold the whole movie.
She black and gold, even in the forest, y'all. Okay, yes. She was ready. She was cute. Hair, not a
in the forest, dressed like Elektra.
Her curls was curling. It was very good. Her character actually has stuff to do though. Like she makes some phone calls. She show up. She do a little this, a little that, a little fighting. So she was fine. I mean, she could have been in it less and it would have made a difference. She could have been in it more. I don't know if it would have made a difference, but it's fine. Also fine. She's just fine.
I liked her character. She was funny. Mm-hmm. Her conversations when she would contradict Kraven about his mission or what his
their
goal
back and forth was good.
Her back and forth was good. Mm-hmm. She had great outfits, like you said.
The fits was cute.
My favorite would probably be the romper she was wearing when she tried to go on the run. When she first went on the run.
Okay.
When the guys are walking into her office.
I liked her fit when they got into the forest. I was like, girl, I know you hot.
It was also a one piece.
It was.
Yeah. The only time she didn't wear black is when she first got to the forest and she jumped out the plane, and he got and he was walking her to the house.
And she had on like the white shirt, sleeveless shirt. Okay.
I will say, if you're a hotshot attorney, you know you work for bad guys, you should have had a to-go bag prep.
Yeah, because she has to like scramble to get all her stuff together. It's like, girl,
you need a grab bag
and a gun.
Yeah, it needs to be in the bag.
Pop,
like
pop.
you just need to have a safe, and you just pop the safe.
And there's your bag.
There's your bag.
Your cash.
Yeah. She's too busy trying to look through her purse and figure out what she needs.
Right.
You're gonna die.
Right.
If you don't hurry
I think
up.
it's funny that she had. So we didn't establish this, but we should have, I guess, earlier. Kraven turns into Kraven because he is attacked by a lion. Mm-hmm. So the lion blood drips into his wounds, which sounds gross. It is. And then Calypso, as a child, gets a vial of some potion from her grandmother, and she runs off on a safari by herself
for no reason, and sees the lion attack, gives it to Kraven, who's just Sergey at that point, and that's how he gets his superpowers. Right.
Well, she also has this potion. It's been years, but she also has a great value size Costco size of this potion in her desk at work, and I was like, why is this in your desk at work? This is strange to me, but whatever.
Okay, this is a long day. You need
she need to turn to Kraven the Hunter?
Supersized pick me up or a bad case.
Listen, because I guess outside of what it does to Kraven, we don't know what the potion does.
Yeah, and she doesn't really explain it either. So basically her mother is some type of
grandmother. Not even her mother, her grandmother.
Her grandmother's a witch doctor.
Exactly. She is.
There's nothing wrong with that.
She's in the witchcraft.
She's in the witchcraft. She made some concoction that
Clear concoction.
I mean, it has like a rune symbol on it. It's not even like...
We don't even get to that either.
Yeah. So it's clearly magical of some sort. But whatever in this vial, we get a voiceover when he drinks it. It's supposed to give him all the powers of the earth and all of the powers of the animals of the earth.
So that's what it is.
But she said it's this formula that's been passed down her generation for ages. She obviously gave the granddaughter the recipe card because she has a mason jar of it at the end of the movie.
I was like, girl, why you got something?
It's like this big
work.
It looks like an aloe vera leaf floating in a jar.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But she is the one who is responsible for, this potion is the one is what's responsible for giving Kraven his powers. And she's in possession of it. The reason they are connected is because she gave him a tarot card.
The Strength Tarot card.
As for safekeeping.
And he kept it all these years.
When he got life flighted away. Mm-hmm. And he kept it all these years.
And the vial. And the empty vial. And he kept it all these years and tracked her back down because he wants to get more of it. But we don't know why. That is the whole point of her being in this movie. But we don't know why. But also, he found her because she has connection to all the people on the list that he wants to kill. Exactly. So they have a partnership, which is strange because they don't get very far with it. Right. In the movie. So my issue with, and I've mentioned this here because I guess this is the point. So my issue with that, and I'll be very brief, is that the plot, they bring her into the movie because he is only going out to her because she knows the people on the list. Right. Mm-hmm. But they completely abandon that part of the plot when his brother gets kidnapped. And they never go back to it. That's why I said this partnership didn't really go nowhere. So the partnership, the partnership, zero. The purpose of it completely switched. Like, she didn't help him with the list at all. The only thing she helped him do was track down his brother, which I guess is better. Sure. But, I mean, we don't even get a hint that they stay connected at the end of this film. The brother getting kidnapped was an accident. So do they still maintain a connection at the end of this film? Does she still assist him with the list? With his crop top jacket? Murdering her own clients, which was a strange choice. Why I said, one of my notes is, this is a strange partnership. Yeah. Yeah. But the character was fine, but some of their connections and motivations didn't make any sense. All right, Dimitri plays the brother who is our innocent wildflower child at the beginning. The one that gets abandoned by Kraven, the one who is treated like crap by Dad. He is a musician, singer. Yeah, it's like a piano player. He grows up to be like a performer, and he's singing the piano and all, singing and playing the piano and all that. Impressions. He does musical impersonations. Okay. Mm-hmm. So he's grown up and he's still all right. You know, he's still a little, his dad still thinks he's weak or whatever. I like this character until the end. when they do the typical trope of, and we're in spoilers, the innocent kid turns bad because he got treated unfairly in life. And it's like, y'all couldn't think of nothing else for this boy. So the character, I like the character because he actually almost plays, not as much. He's a little kooky like he was in Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
So he does that very well. And he actually is just an innocent brother who's getting treated and got left. Like, that's literally his character. And that's not a bad thing, but I like the fact that he was genuinely just kind of like, I've been treated bad. I know why people are treating me bad. It ain't fair, but I'm just kind of trying to live my life.
He kind of reminded me of Eddie Redmayne a little bit from Fantastic Beasts.
A little bit, yep.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if he was all the way there or not, but I think he was just, like you had said, he's probably just a result of like years and years of a mental and
not being
abuse.
able to like, escape because he's probably under, he probably is comfortable like living arrangement wise. So he's like, for what?
Yeah.
At this point, my brother left me, so
he wasn't I didn't like him. I didn't dislike him though, but I thought he was fine. I did like the relationship between the brothers though.
I did once they were adults.
Yes, I like that. Sergey did not become, he was still soft for his brother.
Yes.
He was still nice, and he knew that his brother was not as strong as him and his father, and he protected him. When he went to his dad,
right,
to talk about how he was kidnapped after Demetrius kidnapped.
Yeah.
He tells his dad, like, he's innocent. Like, he's not you and me.
Right. So why are you treating him like this?
Right, exactly. So I like their relationship.
I did like that. I did like that. All right, let's go on to somebody who we're probably going to say 2 sentences about, keep moving. There's another character / villain in this movie called the Foreigner.
Yes.
Who is used by Rhino to track down Kraven. The Foreigner has his own agenda that is mentioned for 30 seconds and then never explained or picked back up on. He has superpowers that are also never explained, and then he dies.
So the Foreigner is a random henchman who is played in this movie
Is he from the comics?
Probably.
Okay.
I'm going to say
sure
because there's no reason for them to make anybody up now.
They didn't even explain his power.
I don't know who he is, but I can assume he's like a hypnotist.
Okay.
Because what he does is he takes his glasses off, and if you look in his eyes, he can hypnotize you in 3 seconds. And
he counts every time, y'all.
Yes.
And he does it like 10 times in a movie. So by the 4th time, it's like, get it over with. We don't care, Foreigner.
And maybe hypnotism only works with, like, you have to speak. So maybe that's why he has to count out loud.
You should have did it in Spanish.
Here's the thing.
Or Russian. So change it up.
The Foreigner is played by Christopher Abbott. We will see him for our first time in Wolfman. I'm not going to count this because I don't think this movie was great.
The acting was not bad.
He was fine.
It was just more of we have no backstory. We don't care. Why are you here? What are you talking about? Oh, you dead.
They didn't give us a reason to care about the character being in the movie.
No.
And
his glasses were nice.
And then they give him a scene of him explaining his own backstory, and then they have another character in the movie say it's unnecessary to hear it. So it's weird.
Yeah. We'll see how his acting is in Wolfman, but in this movie, pointless in my opinion.
Yeah. So he has a fight with Kraven. He uses some poison rose peas that he found from somewhere that gives him hallucinogenic effects. And that's where we get the scene in the trailer of the spiders crawling all over him in the forest. That was just a hallucination scene from the effects of the poison.
Yeah.
They have a hand-to-hand fight where it looks like he's gonna win, but Calypso puts an arrow in his eye,
which was probably one of the best scenes of the movie.
Yes. I like that scene,
and that's why I said she had something to do because she definitely kills.
Because she's a secret assassin archer. So yes,
because she remembers all her skills from summer camp.
Which sure.
Oh Lord. Next and last on our character list is Rhino, who's played by the guy who we like in a bunch of different movies.
Yes.
Rhino was fine. Again, just another fine character.
He was a kooky villain.
He's kooky to me. He wasn't kooky enough, to be honest.
He was supposed to be a guy who was I guess Dimitri was mistreated by people who were stronger and
but he wasn't no kid.
Prioritize strength, but
so
he did have
no excuse.
He had a physical health condition that prevented him from being physical, doing simple things like walking.
Right. So he goes to a doctor in New York or wherever, gets some sort of experiment done on him. But
is it Morbius?
Sure.
They're all in the same universe. keep saying Doctor in New York.
He went to Dr. Morbius. Morbius jacked him up, and now he gets like scaly skin, tough skin like a rhino, but the process is very painful.
I don't like that part. It wasn't painful in the comics for the rhino. It wasn't painful for the Hulk. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but it doesn't like give him like excruciating pain where he doesn't want to use his powers.
Yeah, he has this backpack on, which I thought looked silly the whole movie, where he has his medicine hooked up. So he has a medicine backpack basically. And I was like, we ain't thought of nothing more innovative than a backpack for his meds. Come on, y'all. This man is supposed to be like a assassin killer who's trying to run mob ties in London or wherever we at. He ain't thought of nothing else.
I mean, is there a better way to inject something through a porta-cast?
If there's one thing that mob family leaders put above all, is how they look and how they come across. And there's no way you can tell me that other mob families didn't think him wearing a backpack of meds wasn't a sign of weakness.
Well, the thing is, you can't take it off of him because then he will turn into the rhino.
Why wouldn't it be like inside, like something like taped to his skin?
I don't know. Well, I think
just looked goofy.
The backpack was just the backpack was not planned. That was the thing. He was planning on just being turned into the rhino and being able to switch back and forth. But the backpack he had to come up with because of the pain.
Yeah,
I also don't like that. Don't give people powers that it's just boring when people give people powers that they can't use because they're painful. Because that just means you're not going to show us.
Yeah. I didn't love his acting in this. Like, I like him in the other stuff. Out of all the things we just went through of like what he was in and that we liked, this would be my least favorite.
Him as a character, he kind of just did the same thing over and over again throughout the movie. Called up meats, killed one person, and then tried to convince somebody to be his partner. But he didn't really, he just kept collecting partners. He wasn't really saying what he was trying to do. He was just trying to absorb everybody's control in the crime game and just make everybody his partner. I didn't get that.
It was just kind of like typical villain, typical plot, typical. So that is all of everybody from the character list. Did you have something to add?
I will mention that I did not dislike totally the Rhino Kraven fight scene.
It was fine.
It was fine.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was better than maybe what I thought it would have been.
Yeah. You're right.
I was kind of like, how is he going to beat this man?
I will say that I don't like the fact that he was the same size. I thought they should have increased his size like the Hulk, because in the comics they increased the Rhino's size. He gets bigger.
Like a rhino.
He did not look right having a Rhino top half of being the same size as Aaron Taylor Johnson. They were the same height.
Pretty much.
And that was weird.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into our likes, which we've kind of already gone through. Let's get through. You got any standout likes and dislikes? I'll put it that way.
Other than the fact that the CGI movement wasn't terrible, I like the scene of the black doctors in Africa.
Oh, yeah. He does get rescued by a team of black, because they are in Africa. So, but movies could have been like, there's no black doctors here.
They would have any other movie. They would have care flighted him to. They would have been like, we would have been able to care flight him back to England,
back to London. Yeah, you're right.
I like that they took him to a hospital in Africa, because it makes sense. He's already there, and usually I can't think of movies where I get to see like hospitals in Africa are like just like African black doctors. I like the bar shootout scene.
That was good when they tried to assassinate Nikolai.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I like the bar shootout scene.
I would say that the action scenes were shot well.
Yeah.
Overall, that would be a like of mine. Like, anytime something got popping off, like, or anytime Kraven killed somebody, all that was entertaining.
The prison escape chase was entertaining.
That was good.
The chase to when they kidnapped his brother was entertaining to look at.
Also good. Mm-hmm,
so they had that was some.
Whoever was behind stunts and fight choreo, good for you. You deserve an A cinema score.
But that's the only thing.
I would say, I already said book back looks silly. I did not like Calypso X.
Oh, we're
Kraven.
Doing dislikes.
Oh,
go ahead.
I'm jamming
dislikes after you.
I'm jamming mine together. I didn't like when Calypso asked Kraven if her brother was worth saving. Part of the dialogue, like, you don't act like, this is why I said the dialogue sometimes was odd, because why would you ask a man if his brother is worth saving? He's literally not doing anything.
This is my only reason for why that makes sense to me.
Okay.
It's because she says earlier that she knows who his father is, and she doesn't know who his brother is.
Okay.
So maybe she just is assuming that his whole family is terrible.
Fine. I'll give you that.
But I also would not. I get why she would assume that his whole family is terrible. Right. But I also would not. I mean, why would you question him? Why he would say? Right. Because if his whole family's terrible, fine. But he's probably still going to save his terrible family.
Okay, right. Because the ending kind of goes, so you like your terrible family?
It was still a stupid thing to say.
Right. And then, but I do like a positive for her. I do like the fact that Kraven asks her help to recreate the recipe. And she's like, oh, you know. She does the horrible dialogue flip where she was like, my grandmother passed away and I hadn't seen her since. And we was all like, she dead, girl. Of course you ain't seen her since. But I like the fact that she didn't tell him that she could remake it at any time, because towards maybe, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes later, she bust out her Costco size of the potion. He's like, wait, I thought you said you couldn't. She's like, mind your business. Mind your business.
I give movies props when they do something in a later scene that makes me appreciate something earlier that I didn't pay too much attention to. Mm-hmm. So finding out at the end that she had a whole jar of this potion that he was looking for.
Right.
It makes it super hilarious earlier in the film when he's asking her how he can get more. Mm-hmm. And he does not realize that it is in her purse 10 feet away from where they're standing.
Because she packed it at work.
And she's like, oh, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any leads? Have you found anything out?
Right. So I like that. And then my other dislike would be, I don't like that the Dimitri turned bad at the end. So basically Dimitri gets... once he goes through his experience, he's kind of like, oh, I lived, I went through a lot and I came out of it on the side. So let me turn into a bad person and be more like Dad. And it's like, no, why would you come to that conclusion?
Because he has a scene with Rhino when he's holding him hostage. Or the Rhino is basically telling him, you and I are the same. We've been thrown to the side and cast off as weak by people who are stronger. But if you go to this he even tells him about the doctor.
But I didn't feel like that scene, Dimitri was like, oh yeah, let me do that. I just felt like Dimitri was kind of like, no.
He didn't. And that he even out loud says, I'm not going to betray my family.
Right.
Which makes it super confusing when he does the turn at the end. It makes
he literally turns into, according to Wikipedia, his character name is Chameleon.
Who is a comic book character who's like bottom tier.
And we see in the movie he shifts into Aaron Taylor Johnson. He shifts into some silver alien looking thing. I don't know why he does that. And then shifts back into himself. And it's like, so we're supposed to think that he lived through all of this to turn bad? I'm not buying it. I didn't like that.
I'll add a dislike. Mm-hmm. So in the X-Men, when Mystique changes, she changes her mask. When he changes, he looked like a tiny, scrawny Aaron Taylor Johnson. And I did not like that.
It was weird.
It was because I couldn't figure out who he was supposed to be at first.
Right.
When he turns around and he's got Aaron Taylor Johnson's face on.
Hair and everything.
It didn't click to me that was Aaron Taylor Johnson at first, because he still had the same body.
Why would he turn into Aaron Taylor Johnson? Why not turn into like Dad or something?
Because he can't change his mask. Because if he turned into Russell Crowe, his enemies would probably be like, why is this skinny dude wearing Russell Crowe's face?
He's alive.
Walking around. Right.
That was probably my biggest dislike, was the fact that we did the typical innocent brother who's actually innocent and good turns bad
no reason for him to
just
switch.
Because no reason. Yeah. No good reason.
And the line comes out of nowhere. He kind of like does it mid-sentence. Mid-conversation, he switches to the bad side. Mm-hmm. There's no warning or anything. I didn't like that.
I didn't like that. What other dislikes did you have?
The song that he is playing in the bar is Sign of the Times, Harry Styles. He's singing it because it's the end of the night. And I did not like that because it was not closing time by Semisonic.
The way the whole scene was shot was weird because he stopped singing, but we don't see his mouth moving. Yeah. And I was like, oh, he's done.
Sign of the Times is not closing time. No. When the bar is closing, you play closing time.
Everybody knows
Sign
how
of the
closing
time. Sign of the Times is depressing. Closing time is not.
It's time to get out.
Yes.
I didn't like that last. I didn't like his second musical scene as much as the first one. I would agree with you on that dislike.
I thought it was weird that none of the villains changed their clothes the whole movie.
Nope.
The heroes did, because we know the movie takes place over several days.
We do.
And in years in some instances.
Right.
But none of them, the villains wear the same outfits the whole movie, which leads me to believe they probably shot all of their sequences at the same exact time.
Yeah, you probably right.
Because they never changed clothes.
Nope. Or get dirty.
Nothing. They go from wherever the Rhino's office is all the way out to the Sahara in the same for days, and his henchman is still wearing the same velour two-piece.
The whole movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie, he had the same two-piece. I'm like, sir, I don't believe you got multiple copies of this. Yeah. I don't believe it.
That is all my dislikes.
All right, let's talk about the ending. So I think we kind of already said it. Basically, the whole thing was set up by Dad. Dad, the Rhino was coming after Dad. Dad knew that he couldn't fight the Rhino, so he sent the Rhino after Kraven to get Kraven, because he knew Kraven could probably kill the Rhino. Right,
because his reasoning was, I needed the Rhino dead. I know that you won't do anything for me, so you wouldn't kill him if I sent you after him. But I know that you'd kill him if you thought he was coming after you randomly.
Right. And the kidnapping of the brother was actually an accident. They were actually meaning to kidnap Kraven. But Kraven left in the middle of the night to go sleep outside because he's an animal.
And the kidnapping would have been unsuccessful.
Exactly. Everybody would have died.
They sent regular people after Kraven.
Right. And Dad knew that Kraven was Kraven because he was like, you're my son. Of course I know it was you because I'm smart and I use conflict. I use deductive reasoning.
My last name is Kravenoff. My son went missing. And then 20 years later, there is a hunter that looks like my son that is going by the name of Kraven.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dad was
Facebook would have connected the dots.
Right. Dad was behind. Some YouTube blogger would have been on that in 5 seconds flat. Right. Dad was behind the whole thing. Rhino ends up getting killed. How does Rhino die? I forgot.
Kraven stuffs a rod into his portacath.
There it is. Kraven kills Rhino, and then brother turns bad. And I guess we're supposed to set up the fact that brother eventually turns into what his dad was. Anyway, and at the very, very end, we get Kraven. Brother tells Kraven to go to the house. Dad left him a gift. Now I don't know how Dad knew how to leave him a gift before he knew he was gonna die. But anyway, because I forgot to add, Dad is killed by a bear.
I have an answer for that, and I'll save it for my favorite line or scene.
Okay, so Dad is killed by a bear that Kraven doesn't stop. So Kraven doesn't kill Dad, but Kraven doesn't help Dad from getting killed.
The bear killed his dad because Kraven told the bear to. Because they've established that he can talk to animals. So, no, he doesn't get off scot-free.
And Kraven took Dad's bullets. So, it was a setup.
It was murder.
It was a setup. Okay. Kraven set up his dad to get killed.
And it hit me until I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, you can talk to animals. You told that bear where your dad was.
Probably right. It was a lie. It was pretty convenient. I was like, was a bear just chilling over there the whole time?
Even the brother was like, a hunting accident?
During your whole conversation, the bear was like, let me just wait for the key word.
Right. Let me wait until he walks off.
Boom. Let's go.
Right.
So, Dad dies from a bear attack, but Dad leaves Kraven in a jacket made out of the lion that he killed way in the beginning of the movie.
And he accepts it.
And Kraven puts on the jacket, and you see this part in the trailer. He sits in his chair contemplating like, ooh, I actually am a Kraven hunter with this fancy jacket on.
Maybe the reason is because of the voiceover. He was like, you are me. So maybe he's like saying, maybe that's Kraven settling into the fact that he's becoming his father. And now he's becoming the villain, Kraven. Because Kraven's a villain. He's not an anti-hero.
Not buying it.
Poorly illustrated, poorly done.
Not fleshed out it. We're on this man's side the whole movie. Yeah. And you supposed to have me think a lion jacket is supposed to make him realize, oh, I actually am horrible.
And as much as he hates his father, the lion jacket and finding out his brother is turned awful makes him want to be his dad is stupid.
And the lion, we see the lion head several times in the movie because it's our reminder of how everything popped off. But Russell Crowe has taken this lion's head and turned it into a jacket.
Yeah.
And Kraven puts it on like, ooh, warm jacket. I must be accepted into the family.
Let me take off the shirt I'm wearing to put this jacket on.
And the movie goes off. There's no post-credit scenes.
Instead of this chair.
Nothing. The ending is everybody's bad, I guess. Is that what we're supposed to take for it?
Well, I guess Calypso is bad too because she's a murdering attorney. So, yeah, everybody's bad. This movie needed a superhero.
Oh my God. It's almost like Spider-Man should have been in this movie. Get out. Favorite line or scene?
Favorite line or scene. It's favorite line or scene time.
You were very excited about this.
Favorite line or scene. This is probably my favorite line or scene in the podcast.
Okay.
But favorite line is Calypso's when Aaron Taylor Johnson asks her if she has any more of the magic potion that her grandmother made. And Calypso's response is no. She died not long after that trip, and I never saw her again.
Just didn't understand. Of course you haven't seen her again, girl. She gone.
Yeah, that would be concerning. The proper way to answer that is no. after that trip, I never saw her again. And then she died. Not she died, and then I never saw her again. It's because that implies you see dead people.
That means they didn't proofread the script. And then when they filmed it, nobody was like,
But maybe that's why Russell Crowe had the jacket prepared. Because he died and told Calypso to make him a jacket.
Get out of here.
Because she sees dead people.
Get out of here.
So she saw Russell Crowe again after he died.
I just don't understand why that wasn't fixed.
It reminded me so much of my mother died in the Amazon while she was pregnant with me. Or whatever that stupid line was.
Studying spiders or whatever.
My mother died in the Amazon.
It had the same feel.
Spiders when she was pregnant with me.
It had the same feel.
And Sony. So...
I just don't know. They just put these movies together and be like, ship it.
Greatest line in
I don't even have
cinema.
My
it's
favorite.
It's up there with I Am Spartacus. She died not long after that trip, and I never saw her again.
You pushing it.
I loved it.
You pushing it.
It was so good.
My favorite scene would have to be the fight scene in the forest where he uses the bear traps to kill people.
First of all,
that junk was good because he used a bear trap on somebody's head. Somebody got sliced from like the middle area all the way up to their head. I love me a gory fight scene, and it delivered.
The scene of the guy getting dragged and split across a tree, I didn't need.
I loved it.
I have a gore limit, and it's bisection. Bisecting, I don't enjoy.
You ever seen somebody's head caught in a lion trap? I mean, well, I guess it could be used for a lion. In a bear trap, it's pretty gore, but it's pretty good.
You can cut off limbs, and I'm fine with that. But total separation of the body into two parts, I just don't like.
For some reason,
it's like my worst nightmare.
It's like I can do all of that, but I can't do a horror movie. It's very strange.
I can do decapitation. You know what I don't like? I don't like intestines.
I don't mind intestines.
So that's why I don't like cutting people in half.
We did see some. They showed us when the poachers cut off the horns of the, I think they were like wildebeest or something.
Yeah.
They showed like and I was like, I actually don't know if the horns have, like you can.
I don't like animal body parts too.
The crazy part is you can take off, and I don't know animals like this. You can take off the tusk of an animal and not kill the animal.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they needed to.
Don't do that.
Right.
But yeah, there was no. They just needed to make.
They didn't focus on the
terrible.
poaching, right? Very much at all. For him to be the hunter and going after poachers, we didn't focus on poaching.
Because we've watched documentaries about animal poaching before, and we've seen, unfortunately, the realistic images.
Like they unnecessarily kill the animals to get whatever they, tusk or whatever. So we see that in this, and it was just kind of like, well, I feel like the movie just could have had a different plot.
Yeah, I didn't.
Poaching would have been a good plot.
Because it makes sense that he
kidnapped brother.
It makes sense that he would go after poachers because of who he is.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just because they didn't do much with it, they could have cut that.
Right. And we kind of in our random notes section, but do you have any other random notes?
Random notes. Pampas grass. We're 3 for 3 with the fields of wheat and pampas.
We get a field of wheat in a hand, a bloody hand going across the pampas grass.
Gladiator 2, Wicked. And this, I'm going to assume, is Russell Crowe's idea. Or the director decided to do it because he had Russell Crowe in his movie.
And he also had somebody from Gladiator too.
Every time we get Russell Crowe or Russell Crowe adjacent things, we get hands through fields of wheat and pampas grass.
Mm-hmm. It's a staple.
I didn't understand why Calypso just walked off weirdly into the Sahara, but you had mentioned that.
Yeah, I didn't. As a young girl, Calypso is on a safari with her parents. And they're telling her, look at these giraffes that they're taking pictures of. Turn around, Calypso's gone. And we don't know why she gone. I guess she hears something in the field, but it's also like, girl, you are in a safari with there's no fences. Like all the animals is out. Why are you just walking off by yourself?
I did have a random note that I had to get rid of. 0864 was his prisoner number, and I thought that was the same thing that they called people with superpowers and agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or alien artifacts, but it's 084, not 0864.
Oh, okay.
So that sucks. But
gotcha.
That could have been better. They should have just called him prisoner 084.
At least it would have had some connection, right?
I didn't think that. What was the random note that I had? Oh, yes. Russell Crowe's fancy ascot that he had around his neck while he talked about strength.
So tight. It's very tight.
He constantly wore an ascot, which was weird because he's not British. He's Russian.
He's living in London now.
Yeah.
He's assimilating.
But he's wearing all of these and they're like pastel colored. ascots.
Russell Crowe is given refined mob boss.
So the wide shot scene of him standing in the hallway talking about embrace strength, you need to
with the ascot on.
You need to get rid of weakness. I'm like, you have this fancy ass
it
tie.
was long.
Like, can you breathe?
It was tight.
It was tight. The knot of the ascot was so tight. Like, you know when you tie a tie, you're not supposed to make the tie not too tiny. It looks weird.
Yeah, it looked tiny.
Keep it fat. You got to keep the ascot tie fat.
Yeah, that was funny.
And I liked her big jar.
The Costco size jar of the potion.
My last note was good for her for not sharing black ancestral secrets with outsiders.
That is keeping recipes was one of mine. And the other note I had is that when we first get Rhino, he looks big and hunky and clunky, and for some reason he is. I think Aaron Taylor or Kraven tries to like punch him and stuff, and it's not like landing or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's established that Rhino is like huge and big and bulky. But literally 2 seconds later, Kraven kicks his butt off of the truck like he is a fly.
Like a Super Bowl. Like he flies across the field.
Literally a whole football field away. I was like, we just established that Rhino is literally a rhino. Yeah. He's heavy. He's big. He's bulky. He's strong. But somehow Kraven is able to kick that man 100 yards away 2 seconds later.
He's like the weight of a train, and you just kicked him across the Sahara.
Like, did y'all forget that y'all established this character's strength and then immediately forgot about it? I'm in the audience. I ain't stupid.
Yeah.
So that was my other random note.
Also, don't use animals in fight sequences. That is a random note. I did not enjoy when he tied the cord around Rhino and then threw it on a wildebeest for the wildebeest to do the rest of the work.
I didn't
leave
like
that thing alone.
And we just supposed to assume the wildebeest wasn't injured.
Yeah. Don't use animals for your hijinks.
Yeah, I didn't like. Yeah, you're right. I didn't like that.
Like when he used the animals to ram into the cars. Like, come on now. What if one of them got ran over?
Right, and then everybody in the car died, including your brother. But I was like, let me not. This
is the last thing I'll say.
Yes.
Scenes that were cut from the trailer. There
were 2.
Yes. You had one and I had one.
So the one that I didn't see or we didn't see that I noticed was the fact that in the trailer there's a scene where he's in a cave and it looks like he takes a stick or whatever and lights it on fire and he does like the hair flip. And he's like, ooh, it's Kraven. He's all nice and glistening in this cave. Not in the movie.
He also had on the jacket.
He also had on the lion jacket. So they must have filmed something after.
Maybe alternative ending?
Maybe. Because I was like, oh, so he's about to go in a cave and find his next mission or I don't know.
Now I can't think of why he would have did it. Now that I've seen the movie.
Now I'm kind of like
what he had been doing.
I was wondering. I was like, so how you going to end up in the cave? How you going to end up? And then the movie just cut off. And I was like,
once they found out. But because my thought was going to be, okay, something that has to do with the potion has to be in this cave.
Right, like he's going to figure out how to make it. But it's like, you don't really need to. They can just ask her
girl just makes the potion in New York. So what's the purpose of this cave now? So they cut it. Good.
They probably, it probably made no sense. But I was waiting for the hair flip fire flame scene with him his cool crop jacket on. Not in the movie, y'all. Not in the movie.
They also cut out the snow chase where he's running through the snowstorm and he uses the wolves to attack the guys that are chasing him through the snowstorm.
Nope.
We get the scene of him seeing the wolf.
And the wolf just goes away.
But the wolf just goes away.
He does the little stare down like this.
Yeah, the guys don't chase him into the storm. He just runs into the storm, runs into a wolf. The wolf says, hey, how you doing? He gets on his plane and flies away. Yeah.
And that's it. I was really waiting on this cave scene. I was really like, oh, we about to get it. Oh, we about to, he gonna be all nice and Nope. That was probably the scene everybody was waiting on. At least a certain population of the audience. Just saying. But we didn't get it. But
let's get into our rating.
So I'm gonna give this 2.5 Nicole Kidmans. It don't deserve no more than average. I'm sorry.
I actually didn't think about a rating until just now for this movie.
I was ready. I clearly was ready.
I will mimic 2.5.
It's not. I usually reserve 3 for my just a movie kind of movies, but this was just one step below that.
My pluses will be I liked the actors.
Yes, agree.
I did enjoy the lines, the stuff that was played for laughs on purpose.
Mm-hmm,
I liked that. There was some scene where the rhino Randall finds out that Sergey lived, and he like makes some weird noise where he's he's like frustrated.
Weird.
He's like doing some weird breathing noise.
Now, mind you, there's only 10 people in our theater, but the people down from us was like, "What?"
Yeah,
it was. We were confused as an audience.
So the lines that were played for laughs, I did enjoy, and I will give them props for the visual effects were good. I did not. The visual effects for what this movie was, the visual effects did not need to be good, but you're right.
Good, they could have cheapened out, and I enjoyed all the fight scenes.
The explosion when they blew up that fort with the rocket, that was decent. The
Yeah,
animals all looked decent.
The animals were given good CGI. But yeah, it was all style, no substance.
Yeah, that's true.
So you only get a 2.5 for that. Oh, and decent acting.
Okay, so that is our rating for Kraven. You probably don't need to go see it in the theaters. It's probably going to get pulled very quickly and go straight to streaming, which it should.
Probably in a month. You will probably see this on streaming.
They're wasting money by paying theaters to keep it in there at this point. So
it's about to get hot and heavy again in the theaters.
So what do we say next week?
Mufasa, the Lion King.
It's getting good ratings.
I am excited about this movie. I think because Transformers 1 was so good, I think for some reason I'm like, they can do prequel stuff like this very well. And it's freaking Barry Jenkins.
Yeah,
so
it's a twin film.
It's just like, I think the anticipation is high. There's a certain fan base of another movie that is waiting for this movie to fail. And I'm just kind of like, I don't understand why both movies can't coexist. But
what movie?
Sonic 3. Anytime somebody posts something about Lion or Mufasa, Sonic 3 fans are underneath the tweet, like with Sonic gifts, and I do not understand why.
Sonic 3 friends might just be a little unwell.
I think Sonic will probably win opening weekend, like domestically.
Yeah, it's a family film. I mean, it's a family film and it's established franchise.
Exactly. And I think Mufasa probably winning the box office.
I mean, and even though Mufasa is an established franchise, it's not the same.
It's actually an origin story.
Yeah.
I mean, original story.
Yeah.
Well, it is it's both.
Yeah. Actually. I mean, it's part of, I guess Lion King is a franchise now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. So there's sequels and now we have prequels.
Yeah.
And
Sonic is different.
Right. So I don't understand. People always like to argue about stuff, but very excited to see it. I have not listened to the soundtrack because I want to hear all the sounds in the movie, and I think it's gonna be good. Hopefully, I think people seem to think, early social media reactions we got to take with a grain of salt because those people always love everything, but I think Barry in this has made this a much better movie.
Yeah, I'll echo that. Transformers 1's really good. We identified earlier that this looked exactly like
it looks like a twin film.
Which twin films are fun.
Right.
So I can't wait to see that.
I'm ready for a song I can sing. Although I feel like Always Wanted a Brother will hit harder if you got a brother. I just feel like that's the one that's gonna take off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying it because I have a brother.
Yes.
I'm looking at it. But I ain't heard the whole song yet, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It might be it. Mads Mikkelsen apparently sings in this. We might get a Be Prepared too.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. I just feel like all the ingredients there for be a good movie. So very excited to see that. And we will have that on the next episode.
All right, so that is our episode. Thanks for listening. If you like our podcast, please share it. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on our website at vaguelynerdypodcast.com. We can also leave us an audio message, which we will play on the show.
If it's nice.
If it is not nice, sure, we'll give you a unpleasant rebuttal.
And I will make it a clip out of it and put it on social media.
You can follow us on Threads and IG at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, Blue Sky, and the Bird app at Vaguely Nerdy Pod. And you can reach us at vaguelynerdypodcast@gmail.com for our email. If you're listening to us on an audio podcasting app, you can watch our animated podcast on YouTube or on our website, vaguelynerdypodcast.com.
Until next week.
Bye.
Bye. Always wanted a brother.